we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
All right, welcome to a short week. I wouldn't say another week, but this is a short week of Manversations 2020. One of our co-hosts has to be out of town this weekend, so we wanted to give you guys a show, so we made sure that we did the short show. But this show tonight is basically the viewer's choice show. Why did we decide to do that? Because we have been getting a lot of feedback from you guys that you really enjoyed the show. And we wanted to take that feedback that you guys got and you have given us and basically give you guys the opportunity to basically produce a show for us. So all the questions that you're going to see tonight and hear tonight is basically from people that have watched the show, that follow us, and wanted to know a little bit more in depth on some questions that we might have touched already or we might not have touched already. But we welcome all questions, and we definitely going to have a live show for you guys tonight. The questions are super dope. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. It's super dope questions. We really appreciate the fan base and giving us this opportunity to basically, feel grateful for you guys to be a part of us. So this is like more of us really being joyful that you guys are giving us this opportunity to answer these questions that you guys took your precious time to ask us. So, fellas, how y'all doing tonight? Man, y'all doing good? I know it's a short week. How's everything?
Man, blessed and highly favored, man. Fair to middling. You dig? Everything good, man. Everything good. Blessed.
Well, that's what's up. That's what's
You
up.
said doing better
One
than
trillion.
some, doing worse than others, but I'm right where I need to be. So
You
Nice,
dig?
nice.
perspective is
Well, I
We
up.
always
ready.
say, what I always say is that, always been told to us. I know it's a very um, long worthy, or I would say a traditional quote. The moment you open your eyes, man, everything else goes downhill from there. Meaning the hardest part is to be alive. Once you're alive, I think you can basically control everything else for the rest of the day until you shut your eyes again, and hopefully you are gracious enough to wake up the next day and do something else better that you didn't even get a chance to do previously.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Correct.
huh?
Yes, sir. I was agreeing.
Yeah, so I always say that, um, all we ask for is the creator, the universe, and the ancestors to protect us, but give us strength to wake up every day, and we'll handle the rest. So we have the faith, but we also got to put that work in. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So just take that on a daily, uh, take that as a daily thing, apply it to yourself. And, you know, I think that has helped a lot of people not get in the mood of depression because everybody's facing battles, man. Nobody's out here saying that life is just excellent and perfect. Whether you have money or you don't have money, we all face issues. We all face tough times.
Yep.
But how you get through it and how you the adverse moments that you have is what makes you courageous, is what sets your character, what defines you, what makes you. So just make sure that you're being your best self and trying to be your best self as possible. Because when you dip a little low, at least you have an extra weight of building yourself up to where you could carry yourself on that ultimate level. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With
All
that being
facts.
said, we definitely are going to get into the next well, let's do the first question. So let me pull up the questions and
Yay.
we can dive off into it because I know it's been late. It's a short night. So we definitely want to make sure that you guys are getting your questions asked. We don't want to leave no questions out on the table. All right. So first question up is, why do blacks attack each other? So fellas, why do you think that blacks attack each other?
Hmm.
What could be the
The
vital and most important reason for that?
the short answer, and I feel like the correct answer, is because we're taught self-hate. First off, I want to put this out there because a brother actually had responded to that. This is a question a sister that I know posted. And he was like, well, black on black crime is not this big thing that they make it out to be. All groups attack within proximity. And that is true, right? Asians kill other Asians, white folks kill other white folks because those are the people that you're around, the people in your group. However, um, black folks, we can't really afford to be doing all that. You know what I mean? Because of the simple fact that, we need each other more than a lot of these other groups do, because these other groups get on code against us. So we need each other. We need to avoid that as much as possible. And there is still, a valid point to be made in that. But at the end of the day, the short answer to that is that we're taught self-hatred from a very young age. You know what I mean? And we start to live out the stereotypes of the self-hatred that we're taught. It's all throughout the media, it's all in the schools, so forth and so on. I mean, we inherit some of it from our parents, even if it's not, hating on us in particular, the way we look or the way that we put ourselves together. This group of black people hating on that group of black people. We see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a learned behavior that we need to unlearn, and we just need to really start to treat each other in a more civil manner and be more logical with the way that we approach each other and the way that we handle each other generally. We need to be a lot more civil. That's real talk.
Indeed, indeed.
Well stated.
Um,
Well,
to be
go ahead.
the first thing we have to do is, and everything that Major said is spot on. So I won't try to beat any dead horses there. But something that we also need to take into consideration is the serious emphasis on the first portion that he mentioned. There is no magic when it comes to what we call black on black crime. The reality of the fact is the actual term for it is proximity violence because, like you said, uh, people attack each other, but they also tend to lash out around them. It's very rare that you have people that will go and travel large distances away from the areas that they're in to go and do violence against other people. And usually when that happens, it makes the news. Uh, you know, when these things happen to become a huge incident, the most common type of violence is domestic violence. If you look at police statistics and criminal statistics, they'll indicate that you typically have more violent crime that occurs outside of the home during summer months when it's hot, when it's warm, when people are more likely to be outside of the homes. However, especially if you live up north, once it starts getting cold and chilly and the snow starts setting in, people want to be inside more than want to be outside. Typically, the rates of domestic violence go up. You can almost set your watch to it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, pleasant weather. When it's violence, it's outside in the streets. Once it's cold, people don't want to be outside and moving around. Violence is happening inside the home. So the magic of violence isn't that, well, black people are just violent. No. The term black on black crime was created specifically to target us and to create a lack of value within ourselves. Because you have to understand, we live under a global system of racism and white supremacy, and white supremacy takes all sides of any argument. So they'll go ahead and attack you, but then when you do the same exact things that every other group is prone to, they'll say, oh, look at those black, they're savages. Look how they harm each other. And some of the people who say that just beat the dog piss out their wife, their husband the night before. But they want to focus on you to make it look as though you're the person that's out of whack. In international media, they've actually banned the term black on black crime. America is the only place you will actually hear on some places where you will see black on black crime mentioned in their newspapers and periodicals, where you will see it mentioned in their news outlets. They don't use that term because they actually recognize it as being a term of racism.
I did not know
you don't
that.
hear anyone talking about yes, so check British news. You're not going to see it brought up there. You don't hear anyone talking about white on white crime. Look at these Asian on Asian crime rates. It doesn't happen. It's called proximity violence because, again, you harm the people who are around you. Even as far as violence goes, it's not normal to go and travel large distances. When I want to punch someone, I'm going to punch my wife. I'm not going to go 3 cities over and go slap somebody else. That's not normal. People who tend to suffer from those things tend to be really whacked out. So we have to be mindful. While yes, we have a lot of things that have gone into boosting our crime rates and getting us to a place where what we see as violence that is proximal in our areas, a lot has gone into getting those rates to where they are from outside sources. But the sensationalism we also have to be mindful of. We have a lot of work to do. At the same time, we're not nearly as bad as we think we are. Historically, you want to talk about famous proximity violence. White supremacy has lashed out all across the globe. Everywhere you go, you see colonialist white supremacists unable to be at peace. They go to Africa, they start wars and conflicts there. They go to Australia, they start wars and conflicts there. Even in Europe, all these different countries we see, Denmark, Sweden, Ireland, Great Britain, all these people, look up ancient European history. There were tons and tons of different tribes. You had the Britons, you had the Saxons, you had the Anglos, you had the Danes, all these different people, tons of tribes. Most of those tribes were wiped out over the centuries due to infighting, not just basic, localized beef, literally wiping each other out.
Real
Places
talk.
like Great Britain, all these different places, that's only a fraction of the tribes that used to be, because these people just simply can't get along with each other. But again, no talk about white on white crime. So we have to be mindful. Don't fall for the narrative. Do we need to do better? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot that needs to be improved. However, we are not nearly as bad as they would like us to believe we are. So we can't fall forward on either side. We can't get complacent and say we have nothing to work on. We can't say that we're the worst of the worst either.
Well said.
Oh yeah, that was super dope. Both of you guys pretty much hit it out the park with that. I will say that a lot of times we hate on each other is like Bobby was saying, the proximity that we deal with each other. If you're around somebody 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week, you guys have flaws with each other. There's going to be a time where you're going to have moments where you don't even want to be around each other. You don't even want to be around that type of environment or in that close proximity with somebody, and it ends up it could lead into violence. I know since the pandemic has occurred, domestic violence have increased by a good amount of number, because what happened was we had to stay indoors and we couldn't just get up and leave like sometimes we would do during an issue or a disturbance. When we don't agree with something, one person could leave the house and go wherever they went. But during the pandemic, everything was closed down. You really was basically confined into your household. So now you're going from 24 hours a day, where you can break that down to probably 8 or 12 or 10, depending on what activities you had to go outside the house to go do until you come back in to deal with the people inside your home, to now going where you're almost in the home 24 hours, unless you go outside for a couple of hours and then come back in. So you have more of a long extended time that you're dealing with the people you're dealing with. And that in itself will create more friction, which we have seen, like I said, the increases of domestic violence. So a lot of times we don't like each other because we be around each other so much, and each person has different qualities and different flaws. So if I don't like something about you, but I can't change you, it's going to irritate me, especially if you're in my vicinity, to the point where if you don't move from me, I'm a snap. How many times do you hear people say that? Look, man, if you don't move from around me, I'm gonna spark your ass. I'm gonna hit your ass. You
Yeah.
always hear that phrase, right? Always heard that phrase. So you got to be mindful about how we treat each other and move forward in better ways of conflict resolution. But this is one of the reasons that a lot of brothers and sisters go outside and date interracially, because they have dealt with the people that have dealt with for such a long, extensive period of time that they just irritate. They just want to do the extreme opposite, and it's like, yo, I used to like black people. Now I don't even want to be around black people. How many times you guys hear that? I don't want to be around these people. And those are the people that they leave from the black communities and drift off into urban communities or into sundown towns, because they want to get so far away from people that look like them. So yes, we have to do a better job of that. And we had Stockholm syndrome that kicked in effect from years of slavery that has been actually produced and transitioned down through generational curses. Those are one of the curses that you have to break within your family structure and not bring it on to where you're passing it to your children. Let your children practice ways that your children know how to deal with conflict, so that way they can be around people that look like them and don't have to be in conflict with them, because they understand how to flow with them, the yin, the yang. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that little tango dance, you dip me, I flow back, and this and that. That's how you have to deal with your people. Once you know how to deal with Black folks on that level, with your own people, it'll be easier, less conflict, and we can start building the nation that we're supposed to build, and not be at war with each other, trying to burn each other down or kill each other, and end up in places like the jail or the grave house, because we couldn't control our emotions. That's just what we saw with the brother that was inside the shop, that was going at it with the lady, couldn't control his emotions, and end up losing his life in the process. So
Ridiculous.
just take that to heed as you think about that question. All right.
Mm.
All right. So next one. Men's mental and emotional health. What spaces are being created for men to take care of their mental and emotional health? How can we as women help and support our men?
Manifestations 2020, baby. This is the
Boom.
space. This is where you come. And I replied to the sister, man, we've had several shows. We had one show where we had a mental health expert come on. Shout out to Matt Genius. I gave her his
Brother
name,
Genius.
told her he's available for sessions, the whole nine. And we've had other shows that were, I want to say, man mental health adjacent, because we had the emotional maturity show. We had the other show with the relationship coach. You understand what I'm saying? And those shows, and the show the show with the doctor, because she talked a lot about men's mental health on that show as well. So Katina, what was her last name? Dr. Katina. I
Dr.
forgot her last.
Katina Kennedy. Dr.
Yeah, Katina Kennedy, right. So, all of those shows were either directly talking about men's mental health or men's mental health adjacent. So, if you come here and you're a dude who has something on your mind, that I've had a couple of guys inbox me, and they were going through things or whatever. They're like, hey man, blah, blah, blah. I'm going through this, I'm going through that. Holla at me. My cousin actually was going through something not too long ago. And, I hit him up, and, I gave him some advice, and he took it, and he's doing better now. But I also told him, hey man, anytime you need to hit me on the jack, and if I can't help you, I'll put you in touch with a mental professional. I also gave him this show as a point of reference, to be able to come and call in or listen in and, get some of that load off of you. If you need to express yourself and there's things that you need to address and you're going through a time, this is the place that you need to come. If you don't get the game directly from us that can help you, which you often will, I've helped quite a few people. I'm sure these brothers have as well. But if you don't get it from us, we will put you in contact with somebody who can help you for people with the more serious problems. So this is I would say, the quintessential space being created. That is a safe space for men, and a place where men can come to quote unquote get their mind right. This is the spot right here. And there are others, by the way. And what systems can do to help, that part of the question. Listen.
Yeah, before you do that part of the question, let the people know that you also help people to get married. Elaborate on that before you get to your next question.
Oh, that is a very good point. Yes, I can't help but notice, man, ever since I've gotten married, there's been 6 people around me who've gotten engaged or married. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of a big deal. I just got married in January. You understand what I'm saying? 6 people around me, that I've gotten to, I feel. You know what I'm saying? People who watch us, it's got to be something in the vibe, something in the air that's causing all of these people to go ring shopping. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful thing, knowing that our influence is contributing to the thought process that a lot of people are having out there behind, you know, man, I need to get married. This is something that is significant. This is an accomplishment. This is, a rite of passage. This is something that I should do so that I can have a nuclear family, so that I can give my kids the best opportunity by creating the environment that they will thrive in most in a most fervent manner. You know what I mean? So I think we've done a sensational job of that. People have told me directly, yo, because of you, I'm thinking about marriage now. That's beautiful, man. Like, that's what you want to have. That's what you want to hear. There's a sister this week, by the way. Let me just elaborate on that just a little more. Um, Sister Antonia. And Sister Antonia and I had a real rugged exchange a little while ago. I wasn't sure if she still rock with me like that. And it was an honor.
You better leave my
How,
Tony alone.
huh?
Better leave
Yeah.
my Tony alone. That's my girl right there.
Yeah, she's cool people, but we had a little back and forth. And like, I didn't know if she still rock with me, but when she was out here asking about books for her sons to read, you know what I'm saying? Whereas she's homeschooling, I'm one of the people she tagged asking for book recommendations. That was an honor to me. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want anybody to think for a minute that I take this with any type of cockiness or arrogance. That was an honor. When I have people inbox me and ask for my opinion, on their relationships, or, who they should listen to, what books they should read, and, regarding things that can help shape their lives, and they come to me and they ask me that. Sometimes I'm a person they've never even met before, but they see my level of seriousness and they see that I know what I'm talking about. And when they reach out and they ask those type of questions, she asked me, Anthony, and Bobby. That's a big deal. That is a testament to the fact that people are watching and people know what we're talking about. Some people worry about likes. I'm not so concerned about likes. I get more inbox messages than likes. When I post something, I get an average of 10 inbox messages per post. That's crazy, because sometimes people don't want to like it, because when they like it, they get a notification every time something goes on the post, and it blows up their notifications. So some people out there that think that it's all about likes, not necessarily. It's all about effectiveness and whether or not you're able to reach people. So I want to thank the people, who have reached out and, asked, for the smallest things that may turn out to be some of the biggest things. That is an honor to me. And sisters, so what y'all can do is you can listen. You can listen without judgment. When a man is going through something and he's in a poor mental space, you can listen without judgment, and you can be there to help facilitate him getting the help that he needs. That's what you can do. And in the largest way, and this is something my wife is very good at, you cannot contribute to the problem. You can be a solution to the men's
key alert.
Major key. Okay, you can be the solution to the men's mental health issues, because ladies, let me tell you, sometimes your sweet touch and your soft voice can go a million miles with a man, can make him think he can move mountains when he felt like nothing 5 minutes prior. So that's my answer. I'll come down off my soapbox now and pass the mic, but that's my answer to that. Bobby, what
All
up?
right, Bobby, you're up.
You better pass the mic to Anthony. Don't give me that thing that's so hot. What's wrong with you? Who raised you?
All good, all good. Ed, what you got?
That microphone boy, don't wait till it cools off. So don't pass me right now, man.
All right, so
I hear you. I tell you.
Let me cool it off before Bobby takes it back. So basically, Major summed it up what we've been doing here. You guys seen the major feedback. You guys know deep down inside how impactful our program is. We don't have to keep telling you each and every week, but sometimes we do tell you because we do highlight it. And we want you guys to know, yes, when we hear you, we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We highlight it because it takes a lot for people to actually tell you that they like you, especially in today's society. People ain't telling you that they like you. Even if they do like you, they're not telling you that they like you. So for you just to open up and say that you like it, you like the program, you like what we're bringing, and all the great feedback is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? It's a phenomenal thing for us, and we enjoy it and we appreciate it, and we don't take it for granted. Um, this is our space. This is the space that you guys wanted. You know, we created Manversations 2020 to give you a platform that holds both men and women accountable. It's a platform that men can come to and have a safe space. We always talk about men having safe space, but a lot of these platforms that have safe spaces for men, they ridicule men on the back end. So it's really not a safe space. It's just more of a target practice with a low-key narrative of it being safe. Over here in Manversations, this is a safe space. It's always been a safe space. We have plenty of men that feel comfortable enough to share their intimate moments as far as, you know, things that made them cry, you know, how they feel. And we've given them inspiration. We have made them look at life in a different aspect. We gave them confidence. We gave them reassurance. And that is the biggest problem that we have in society, is that we don't have enough people, men particularly, or spaces that breathe energy and life into men. You know, we have all these spaces that guys want to throw men under the bus to get likes and garnish money for monetary reasons, but we don't do that here. We don't throw men under the bus for monetary reasons. We don't throw men under the bus to get coochie coupons from women. That's not something that we do over here. You throw your integrity out the window when you do that. We hold men accountable, but at the same time, we breathe life into good men as well. Because remember, the stats that we constantly give you is that men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than any gender. So men are very fragile, and you have to deal with men on that level. And the reason why men are fragile like that, think about it, women, this is something that you guys could do. Remember, when a woman is at the low, she can, and I'm not advising anybody to do this, but she could sell her body part. She could sell her vagina and get back right. Men don't have the option to sell a peen like that, because women can go out there and get it for free. So the value isn't the same. You know, when we talk about double standards, that's one of them. Women can go out there and sell their body for sex, and there's people buying it up. But men don't have that option to go out there and sell their body for sex to gain, you know, monetary value or to gain some money in order to be suffice with their life or to make ends meet. We don't have that. So when you are out here as a woman and you're struggling, you have anchors, you have your family, you have a man, you have so many different resources. The government helps you out. When it comes to men like that, we don't have those resources like that. When a man is down, he got to find a way, because his girl's not going to help him out like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, you have women out there that help him, but we're talking about on a general gist. A woman is not going to help a man out like that, because if she feels like she got to help you out, then you're not the man for her. She's going to look out there for another guy, especially with women out here posting pictures of them getting taken care of by so many men. So every woman wants to be in that state. So if a lot of these women want to be in that state and you're falling on your face and you're on your low, they're not going to deal with you like that. You got to come and dig yourself out of that hole. Your parents depend on you as a man. Your children depend on you. Your girlfriend, wife depends on you. Whenever stuff go down for the man, nobody's there to build him up. You know what I'm saying? When anybody else is out, when the child is hurt or on the low, the man builds him out. When them parents You already know, especially single mothers, your rock of your household is your boy child. That's why you call him the king of the house when you don't have a man. You know what I'm saying? Your boy child is always the one, whether he's playing sports or whether he's a doctor or whatever it is. The first thing he says is, I want to make enough money to put my mother in the house, to put my parents in the house. Nobody else is saying that. It's the man doing that. So all the pressure and the weight comes on the man. So therefore, if you guys want to help a man out, alleviate as much pressure off of that man as possible and let him function at a higher rate by taking some of that stress off, motivating him. Also, words of affirmation. You ain't got to take much off of him. It's, no, sometimes he just needs words of encouragement. Baby, you got it. You know what I'm saying? We talked about that on the hip hop. You guys could check out the last hip hop show where Major brought that out about Method Man, how that was such an it was an interesting thing. I think Bobby also highlighted on that as well, talking about how the woman is the one who oversees the CD and said, yo, that needed to be a song. And they both were talking about how impactful that song was. You know, You're All I Need with Mary J. Blige. And one of the lyrics that was in the song was, you know, baby, you rub me on my back and say, baby, it'll be okay. And that's real to a nigga like me. You know what I'm saying? So it in that song was so powerful because the lyrics was on point. It was real, it was surreal. That's what men wanted. That's how men felt. You know, just be there for me and I'll take care of the rest. So as women, that's what we want you to do. And if you have anybody that you feel needs extra work when it comes to mindset, rearranging, relearning, send them over here to the Manversations, and I'll land my plane on that over to Bobby.
So not much that needs to be said. At this point, I'm picking the scraps of meat off the bones because Carcass has been well devastated by Major. But again, to further drive home the point, this is a place. It's not the only place, but this is a resource that can be utilized by men. We established this platform for that purpose. We decided that we wanted to be the change that we saw in the world. We got together, we talked about this. This has been a long time in the making, months and months, almost years and years of talking, communication, and just, you know, really laying the groundwork, foundation, getting the ideas together, creating a vision. What is this going to be? What's it going to look like? All because we saw that, hey, there's a need. There's not enough space. We see there's a lot of people with podcasts, a lot of outlets. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of people talking. Some on point, some not so much. But some of them, most of them, really not saying anything. Or they're really not speaking to these needs and these issues the way it should be spoken to. There's a lot of pandering in some cases. There's a lot of ass kissing that's going on. Sometimes a lot of these so-called male platforms really are gynocentric in nature, where they, even though it's supposed to be for men by men, but they lean towards the women. So where do we get this platform? Where do we get this source where men can actually come and can re-up? They can get that proper battery in their back so they can go ahead and go out there and be who they need to be in the world. And we decided that we were going to go ahead and accept the call, grab the mantle, and go ahead and put in the work. Now, neither one of us is particularly any great shakes. We're not necessarily men of note and large renown. However, we are brothers who do have a heart in the right place, who do command a certain level of respect from a lot of our peers. And based on that, we felt confident to go ahead and forge ahead. And that's why we are where we are today. We've gotten this far, and so far the feedback has been fantastic from you guys. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the respect. But we take it as a duty and an obligation. It's not something we're looking for fame. No one here is trying to see clout off of this, but we're generally trying to be of service. And it's an honor anytime we get any sort of praise or acclaim We're grateful for it and inspires us to be more and to stay the course. But again, whether it's a close personal friend, someone that has sense, talk to the people around you that you know have sense. Don't go to your yes man buddies, the ones that's always down for coaching you into a bad time, because we all got friends like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we're honest, we know the people in our lives. Everybody has turn-up buddies. If you need to go hit the club, if you need to go to a party, to go travel, whatever, you got travel buddies. You know who to hit at if you want to go to Cabo, if you want to go take a trip to Thailand, if you want to go to Punta Cana, whatever, if you want to go to Tulum, you know who to hit up for that. When you want to go out to a party, to a club, or whatever, you know who to hit up. In some cases, if you try and do business, you know who you need to hit up for that as well, too. But unfortunately, a lot of us don't have real solid people around us that we know is going to get in our ass if necessary, and is going to really give it to us straight up. I've seen some people end friendships, and I've seen some people walk away from friendships because they couldn't be real with the people who they were with. And so they're like, you know what, I'm not going to go ahead and walk on eggshells around this person and messing up, so we don't need to be friends. I've seen some people that have gotten checked. Hey, you out of order, man. You need to go get this together. And they decided, well, because you didn't tell me what I wanted to hear, not what I needed to hear, but you didn't tell me what I wanted to hear, you're not really my friend. What kind of person are you? And they cut it. At some point, and you can visualize me thumping you dead in your chest right now. Man-to-man conversation, man-to-man talk right now. At some point, you need to grow your ass up. If you would have asked me what one of the hallmarks is of manhood, hey, Bobby, what do you define as a man? What's something that men need to be able to do? What do men need to start doing? The first thing you need to be able to do is to accept criticism. You have to be able to do it, because in order to be a man, like Major pointed out, there are very few safety nets for men. Very few. Women have the opportunity women are actually given permission to fail, if that makes sense.
Yes, they
Women
are.
are allowed to fall. They're allowed to skin their knee, no matter the age, and get it right. They're allowed to cry. They're allowed to weep about it. They're given a pat on the back of they're there. They're told it's okay. Take as much time as you need. We're there for you. We're going to help you get back. Women literally have all that in their favor, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love that for them, and I think it should be that way. I don't have an issue with that. I'm not speaking against it. I think it's a wonderful thing. Men do not have that. And I also don't believe that men need that to the degree that women need it. However, with that being said, because of that, we can't afford to be slacking on our pimping. So that means that we're going to need men around us. The Bible says that iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Not wood sharpens iron. You've never seen wood sharpen metal. You ain't never seen anyone taking a pocket knife and rubbing it through some Jello, and the blade comes out, splitting the hairs. Never happened. You can't be jelly-backed. As a man, you need some sustenance. So you need to be around people and bring people into your circle that you know are going to hold you accountable, that's going to give you your props when you're on point, but they're going to slap you in the back of the head and tell you to knock it off when you're jacking up.
Real
Because
talk.
those are the people that care about you. Those are the people that are going to help you win. They want to see you win. And I can guarantee you, every victory you score is going to be a victory for them too.
That's
do
so
that.
real.
Go see a therapist. Look, mental health. I keep beating this drum. Mental health is one of the hottest topics to talk about the last several years. Mental health. Mental health is important. Mental health is real. You need to. I keep seeing that. How many people right now, not saying have gone, how many people right now even know a therapist that they could dial if they wanted to? Know a name, know a number, know a place that offers therapeutic services. The vast majority do not. But all these people talk about mental health this, mental health that. Something ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing.
Anybody who watched our platform knows that we have Matt Genius, so you have one. You have a good one.
That should be a cheat code. So if you forgot, shame on you. You do. go back and do some homework on that.
Real
But
talk.
yeah, so it has to add up. You can't just be about talk. Talk is cheap. They sell it on eBay. You have to be about it for real, because it's not just venting. A lot of people think that going to therapy is just talking about your problems, and you do that because you got to understand it. But the purpose of going to therapy, the reason why you sit in front of a stranger, why you spill your guts to this person, the reason why you pay this person money for the service is because, yes, they're going to listen, but because they have experience working with others and schooling, when they're listening to your vent, it's not the same like your significant other listening to your vent. They're listening. They've heard some of what you're saying before. They're able to recognize certain things that you likely don't have the expertise to recognize. They can point out patterns and say, hey, you know, you talked about this. You notice that you're dealing with this and such. What's the relationship like with your mom? Well, I bring my mom for. Well, she ain't gonna do this. Well, I think she does. Has this ever happened? Yeah. How long has it been happening for? I don't know, a few years. Okay. How does it make you feel? They know how to get at the root of the issue, not deal with the surface stuff. So they can get those things out, those key details that would be sitting there forever untouched. And most importantly of all, they're able to give you tools. They can give you homework. They're saying, all right, so your goal for this week or this month, whatever the gap is between sessions, here's your homework. I need you to go talk to this person. I need to have a conversation. I need to work on forgiving this person. I need to write out how you feel about such and such. They're going to give you assignments and tools that's going to help you get over what you're dealing with or even unlock your potential. A lot of these big time CEOs, these juggernauts, your Jeff Bezoses, your Mark Zuckerbergs, your all these wealthy people, they have all kind of coaches and therapists, people that help them get to the top of their game to unlock their potential, because you can't do it by yourself. Human beings are social creatures. We are not meant to be alone. We're not meant to be in isolation. We are our best selves when we're in community with each other. And we have people that have training and know how to help us get to the next level. So don't be afraid. I encourage you, even if it's just to kind of understand yourself a little better. You might not have any big issues or whatever. Just to figure out better who you are, what makes you tick, and how to get to your best self. Find a therapist. Do 2 or 3 sessions. And if you don't like it, don't continue. But if you like what you're getting, if you appreciate the results, keep going. As for what the ladies can do, Major gave good suggestions, Ann gave good suggestions. I'm going to give a simple one. How can you help a significant other? Ask him. After he says, I'm dealing with this, I'm going with this issue at work, I'm dealing with this, whatever. Sincerely come with an open mind. Don't come trying to tell him I'm going to do this or take the initiative. Don't do anything. Sit next to him, look in his eyes, rub his back, pull him close, touch him, lay your head on his shoulder. You know your significant other. Look him right in the face, and with genuine sincerity, optimism, and positivity, showing that you're open and willing to be that support system for them, say, baby, what can I do? How can I help you?
Wow.
And the answer might at first be nothing. It's good or whatever. Sometimes just asking that question, again, because there's no support system for men. A lot of times, no one gives a damn what we want or what we need or what's important to us. We're more likely to have somebody tell us what to do or this is what the solution is than to just say, well, what would you like? What would make you feel better in this moment? So do that. And when he sees that you're sincere, that you're not just saying it just to say it or just trying to get it out of your system, but he sees you're sincere, and he might test you out and just say, well, this would be nice. And he sees that you just get to it without a word, you just do it, and you're loving with it, you're compassionate about it. He sees that. I bet you the next time you ask that question, he'll open up a bit more. He'll say, babe, I need some help with this. And do what you can to the best of your ability to meet the need in that moment. Not only will it help him take the stress off his shoulders, but I guarantee it's going to make your relationship deeper. It's going to make your bond that much tighter.
Dope. That was very, very well said. Let me run through the comments a little bit because they are saying quite a
I
bit.
saw some good stuff popping up. Let's see.
I saw some
Because
good
this is for
stuff.
you guys. We want to see what you all have to say.
That's right. That's right. Mona Lisa says most people just be talking because it sounds good. It's ridiculous at this point. Listen, that you said a word, sister.
They in
Woo!
love with
Whoa.
the sound of their own voice.
People need to get closer to nature and immersed in the connection we humans have with it. Then she says,
Facts.
is she the facts, big facts. Then she says, Major is dope. I have had inbox combos with him. He has guided me through some fears. That is so dope. I really appreciate that, sister. I am honored. I'm honored. You know what
My
I'm
boy, my
saying?
boy.
This is the point of the show. You understand what I'm saying? That's the point. We want to help people at the end of the day. If I can just point you in the right direction, or maybe it's a word that I give you, a scripture, a referral to listen to somebody, whatever the case may be, that's what we all want to do. And I appreciate you for acknowledging me, sister. I appreciate all of you. That's why we are here. And shout out to Bobby Drake for the ill answer. Just ask him. Yo, because sometimes what's so dope I like about this trilateral commission we got going right here, right? If
Illuminati
I
over here.
say something, you dig? If I say something and then Ed say something and then Bobby say something, if anything gets left out, one of us is gonna pick it up and drop that joint. That was big. That's the alley oop right there. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. We live tonight.
All
Yeah.
right, so definitely. So next question we had up is Republican candidates. How you feel about Ramaswamy?
Oh, that's the Indian guy who raps "Lose Yourself" at every campaign rally by Eminem. Yes. Yo, you didn't
Yes,
know about that?
Oh no, I
I've
know
been
about that.
I've been following him like I follow steak from a dump truck. I ain't. I'm sorry. Sorry, but not sorry.
This guy's a
So
whole clown. He makes
so
Bobby Jindal look like JFK. That's all I'm gonna say. You dig? Yes. He's that
Yeah.
bad. He's just a pandering jackass. I don't take him seriously at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't see I don't take him seriously at all. I don't take
Yeah.
any
wonder what that
of,
means.
of the Republican. Bobby's a disciplinarian, hilarious. But
I
I
get my
don't
Uber
take
on 50
and
lashes.
listen, I don't take any of the Republican candidates seriously, nor do I take the Democrats seriously because of the simple fact that they don't have an agenda specifically for Black people. They got an agenda for everybody else, and they do things for everybody else, and they make offers to everybody else, and they don't make any offers specifically towards us. So they will not be getting my vote. My last ballot, I voted on ordinances, taxes, stuff for city and state government, judgeships, all that type of shit. I left the presidency blank because of the simple fact that when I go to vote, I do my civic duty as a citizen. And I study the candidates. I study their positions. I study the different things that are on the ballot and what they mean to me. I don't just go out and vote for somebody because they wear a nice suit, got a pretty family, and come down to the hood with a bucket of chicken. That's bullshit. Black people have to grow out of that. So it's not just the Republican candidates, it's any candidate that is not speaking to things that are specific to bettering my situation in this country as a Black person, period. And we all need to get on that. We need to be more politically astute, more politically mature. We need to withhold our votes until someone comes along and starts to give us the things that we need. As Black people, we need reparations, for instance. All these candidates are against reparations. Why am I voting for you? You understand? There's no reason for me to vote for you. Or even if you're not, if you haven't evolved to the point where you're for reparations yet, because that's really what it is. When everybody else gets on the tip and Negroes get serious about it, they'll evolve and they'll be for it, right? But even if not that, simple things like protections for black people as citizens. We're getting attacked here and there all the time, everywhere. And this jackass who we put in office sees fit to come out with a crime bill that protects the lives of who? Asians. Who nobody's bothering if we keeping it a buck. And what do those Asians do, and what does the white supremacist law enforcement do? They'll go and contact law enforcement to say that a black person stepped on their shoe or called them a name, and then have us arrested for hate crime. Okay? That's bullshit. We need to come out strong against this stuff. Kamami put up this video of this 50 years of hip hop celebration at her house. The comments were brutal. They slaughtered her monkey ass. I was so happy because the pandering is not working. I love it.
Was she bumping Tupac again?
No, she had Lil Wayne, Lil Coon ass, and Fat Joe out there performing at her house, you know, for the 50 years of hip hop celebration. Two people I can't stand anyway. Well, I still like Fat Joe, but he's got to stop talking this bullshit about Latinos created hip hop 50-50. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But Wayne, you know, the Coon energy is strong in this one. So yeah, she had those two characters at her house performing, and people were just slaughtering her in the comments, talking about how, you know, this is a farce, it's fake, she's not really black. I mean, like, they were just going in. And I love the fact that black folks are finally catching on. I think that we're going to see a very low voter turnout for these people in this election. And I think it'll send a very strong message. And I'll land my plane there.
Yeah, I don't think the turnout's going to be low. It will be low on the riders, like the Black Americans or the diaspora riders, like myself, yourself. But this is why they're pushing all of these immigrants into the states, the U.S., because they see that black people are falling back and not pandering to the bull crap, not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. So this is why they're pushing all these immigrants in here to make them build up their Democratic voters base. So they're really undermining Black America right now. This is why, you know, salute to Tariq and what he's doing as far as drawing the line in the sand. You know, a lot of people got on him about drawing the line in the sand, but as somebody like me who come from Caribbean parents, I'm glad that he's drawing the foundational line against the diaspora. That line needs to be drawn because there's a lot of Caribbean coons that I don't rock with, that I don't even like. You know, when we talk about reparations, we have HR 40, who is, I think that was a Jamaican woman, right? Miss Jackson? Is that
Sheila Jackson Lee's little cool ass.
Yeah. So you got all these Jamaicans that's coming over here and they're being part of the political system. And I'm not jumping up in joy saying, oh, they're Jamaican and I rock with them. No, because at the end of the day, in Jamaica, what they considered money and of value is education. Notice that everybody who comes from the diaspora, the number one thing on their mind is education. It's not money. You know why? Because they want to be educated in order for them to come to America. So you giving them a good job over there, they're not wanting that. They want to build up their resume and then be imported into America where they can now flourish under that degree. So when they come over here, they come with the mindset that, oh, we just have to put in places of policies of education, you know, and that's a trick bag. I'm telling you that right now. That is a major trick bag because you want the money. You don't want the policies as far as institutions because they control the institutions. So if you're going to if they're going to do some things within the lines of any institution, they can control how that money or who gets granted or funded for the money that you fought for. So now you still go through the whole redlining, you still go through the whole discriminatory process, you still go through the quote unquote overqualified, bull crap way of saying that we don't want you here and we want to put somebody else in. But this is the legal term we use. That way you can't sue us or call us out on being racist about the situation. So you got to understand, listen, it's about the money. If it's not about the money, don't accept it. Don't let nobody else from outside that got 12 degrees tell you different. I'm telling you, it's the reason why they're pushing you towards getting the education versus getting the money. Get that money. You do what you want to do with that money. Remember, a lot of these millionaires and billionaires, they don't have college degree. Don't let nobody fool you. They don't have a college degree. Remember, Donald Trump, he was when he got old enough, his dad gave him $1 million, and then he took that $1 million and built what he needed to build. Remember, $1 million back then was a lot of money. So, so he took that money and invested in flipping. And that's why you got Trump Towers here and all over the place. Get that money. You can build the empire. And I'm gonna tell you another reason why money is so more powerful than you getting subsidized policies and things to lead you off in education. When 2020 hit and the pandemic went down and the whole COVID kicked in, Black people who were programmed on a 9-to-5 had to stop, and they had to rethink themselves because they didn't know. People were losing their jobs. They didn't know what was going on. Nobody do nothing. They were frantic. During that time, the president gave out $1,200, $1,500 a couple times. Did you know that the $1,500 or the $3,000 that they accumulated, between $1,500 to $3,000, did you know that Black men and Black women took that money and flipped it into a multi-million-dollar business? Yes. So that was just $1,500 to $3,000 max, right? And they went and found creative ways to do T-shirts or, little, making little gifts or whatever the case may be, or even going to go get their CDLs, jumping on the truck, making mad money, or going to go get their nursing license, right? Whatever the case may be, and end up getting pushed into the nursing field because the nurses were stretched so thin that they were able to skip the process and get in and make money. But it was the moment that they took that little bit of money, flipped it, and end up making millions behind it. And that's been throughout history. If you notice throughout history, it's the same pattern. Whenever we get the money, we can do what we want to do. This is why they keep us, and this is systemically why they keep us in financial apartheid. Because if I don't make money, if the Black community don't make money like that, then guess what? When they come in, they can pay us to smack our mother, to kill our uncle, kill our brother, because you're so thirsty to want to get a bag so bad that if the only way to do it is to basically lose your integrity behind it, sacrifice it just to get that bag, you do it. And we've seen that plenty of times, just like the young man that was up there in Chicago, and his mother she built up an empire for herself, and he wanted to go around here and floss like all the celebrities on TV, and he wanted to be the man, and he killed his mother, got the insurance money, flossed for a couple of days, and end up in jail.
Ridiculous.
So ridiculous. You gotta understand how powerful it is when people are poor. They do desperate stuff to try to live with the Joneses, and that's why you get all these paid mammies, you get all these paid raccoons, all of these paid Black people that you say damn better to get on national TV and do some crap like that, to say some crap like that, to display yourself like that, knowing that the impact was going to be harmful for the Black people in Black society.
Real talk.
But they do it because the bag is so hefty that they sacrificed their integrity to do it. Remember that Sukihana came out and said she sold her soul. She put that
She
out
sure
there.
did. She did.
Put that out there. She sold her soul. Little Nas X sold his soul.
Mm-hmm.
He'll tell you that. He tried to
Doja
get
Cat.
back and say he wanted to get some coochie now, and then it didn't work for him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He tried to break away. It wasn't. These people are selling their souls and they're regretting it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the process of doing it, they're damaging our community as it goes on. So
Yeah,
you got to understand that when it comes to these presidents or anybody in politics, like Major say, I don't go with somebody with a nice smile and kissing babies, because as we see with Romsey, he's running around here kissing white babies like, you're an Indian dude running around here kissing white babies like you. It's the same playbook. It gets tiring. It's the same playbook, right? You're kissing babies to get in office, and then you don't care about nobody. You know what I'm saying? And you're pushing these wild agendas that end up harming the people that harm the most, which is Black people.
Yep.
So I do my research. I tell people all the time, do your due diligence. I go the extra mile. I've linked up with a state rep, been with the state rep for 4 years, been helping her get some great things done. She ended up getting something done for, this is all her stuff, but, she has me assisting with, when she asks questions or, how you feel about this, I'm always there to give her good insight. But she's been a phenomenal rep, doing phenomenal things. When I told her, when she was going up to the state and she won that's the first time she won and went to the state capitol, I told her straight up, watch the people in your party. And guess what? You're going to get more done from the opposite party than your party. She's a Democratic Party. When she came back down, she told me, she said, damn, you know what? The my own party hating on me, trying to remove me. And I'm getting all the stuff I need to do. She brought back $4 million in for her community because the advice I told her was go out there and go get it, regardless of who the party is. Go get what you need to get. The same DeSantis that people hate, she's able to finesse him and get all the stuff that she needed to get. I tell people all the time, she ain't doing nothing different than what Dr. King did. Dr. King sat down in one of the most notorious presidents ever, Lyndon B. Johnson, and got the civil rights. That's what they wanted. So I tell Black people, stop being scared of these people. Go up there and demand it. Be fearful. You know what I'm saying? Be fearless. Don't sit back and take what they give you. Demand more. You got to take more on that table than they're giving you, because they're always going to give you less and take more from you. Stop doing that. Black people, we got to line up. So this goes way deeper than political parties. Do your due diligence, do your research, and start lining up with some of your local politicians. Start helping to breed some of these local politicians and get them from square root up to where they need to go to. We got to start breeding our own politicians, and they need to be unapologetic. If they're not unapologetic, I'm not messing with them. My state rep was very unapologetic. That's how we got along, and that's how she was able to get a lot of this stuff that she needed to be done. So take that in mind. Do your due diligence in your research. A lot of these people that they're putting in office, as soon as they get in the office, they over here talking about intersectionality issues. Your ass ain't no intersectionality issue. You're a Black issue. You are the main issue. Stop letting them divide up with intersectionality, with climate and sexual preferences and all that. Yeah, that can fall on the back burner. Right now, we're having problems right now. A lot of y'all Black people aren't able to live in South Florida because guess what? They getting y'all up out of here. They're not giving you the money. And then they have these honorary people that's playing racist, which are the Hispanic race down here in South Florida. I'm not saying anything that none of y'all don't see. These people are running inside they're controlling inside the rental office. They're the property managers. They get their people in. They have the code of conduct. This is why we got to bring back the code of conduct. They have a code of conduct. They look out for their people and get the Black people out. They don't care if they get some unqualified people that look like them in there and take out some qualified black people. I've seen it. And I could tell you the sites that they did it to, because once I saw it, I end up getting one of the property managers removed and fired up out of that location. So you got to study what's going on. You got to be unapologetic, and you got to get these people up out of here. You know, it's time for us to stand up. And I tell people this, and I'm going to land my plane on this. Dr. King, as great as that man was, always remember that he got those death threats before he went to the Capitol. And he had 4 children and a wife. And he said that I know that these people are trying to kill me, but I'm still going to progress. And I know I'm not going to make it to see this side that I want to take y'all to, but I'm going to continue this journey, and I'm not going to stop. And he ended up getting killed and leaving his wife and 4 children behind. And you tell me, any motherfucker that you seen from that day to now that carried that same unapologetic spirit and fight, you tell me what politician or what leader has that type of fight in him, and I'll tell you, I don't see that shit, and I'll tell you that you're a liar. Until we get back where you can sacrifice your life for your race of people and leave behind your wife and children for that, because you see a bigger plan for your people than you do your own family. That shit takes courage. That shit is on some next level shit. And I have not seen that spirit of black people till this day. And I land my plane on that.
That's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's everything.
That's it. Plain and simple. Cut the check. El chop chop los cheques. Cut the check. Plain and simple. As it's been said, we are very politically immature. We really do not understand the way politics works. And that's by design. They don't want us to understand how politics works. The whole concept is quid pro quo, something for something. People are coming and saying, I want your vote. I want you to go take your resources, your valuable time out of your day to stand in line and cast your vote for me. In some cases, might call you having to take time off of work. You might need to find a sitter to come and watch your children. You might need to leave doing something else that you would prefer to do and take time out to go and cast a vote for me, a person you don't know and have never met before. I want you to do this, and it's going to allow me to get a position of power where I can go and have all sorts of input and say and make decisions and be among wealthy, powerful people. I want you to do this favor for me, and then supposedly I'm going to go and do something for you. That's the way it's supposed to go. Yes, you go ahead and give me your blessing, and when I go and I receive this office and this power, I will look out for you. Something for something. No freebies, no robberies. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's the way it's supposed to work. Unfortunately, the vast majority of black people seem to treat politics the same way they treat sports. They have a favorite sports team. In this case, it's the Democrat Donkeys. That's the team. The mascot is the jackass. It's not a donkey, it's a jackass. And their whole philosophy is every election cycle we go and I mean, we even have team chants. Vote blue no matter who. They will literally go, if you go to their offices or their rallies, or even when you're approaching the voting sites, they will literally hand you a pamphlet and show you all of the party members from their party that's voting, and they'll say, vote for all these names. Why? Because they're going to do something that we want? No, because a Democrat. Okay, cool, works for me. That's all I need to know. Bruh. And black people determine the success of the election based on how many points, how many slammed How many three? How many feel? How many Democrat candidates were placed in the office? Excuse me, I have my memory's not what it used to be. So if we're able to get a Democrat in every single seat, hooray, we won! Yay! Democrats run the board.
Mm-hmm.
If the other side gets in with a bunch of other parties, oh man, we lost big time this year, man. And the terrible part about it is, regardless of the outcome, whether every single available office was filled with a Democrat or was filled with someone from the other party, at no point in time were black people's needs ever in any danger of getting met.
Right.
Not a one.
Mm-hmm.
Not once. Ask me how I know. Bobby, how do you know? I'll tell you how I know, because it hasn't happened yet.
Uh-huh. And you pay attention.
And on top of that, we're in the basement already. Just found a trap door. There's a sub basement. On top of that, while we watch our needs be ignored and everybody else, even people who didn't vote for and support these candidates, go and get their benefits and needs met from these people, when those of us who have some political maturity and acumen start pointing these things out, these same black voters will turn around and start defending and put out the cape. They get their cape, They get their mask, they get the little Jordan Batman boots and everything at the dry cleaners. They go and toss them on. They go and do their best hero pose on the rooftop, and they'll say, "Oh, this is only one person. They can only do so much.
Uh-huh.
They only have this one term, but we need to put them in for another term so they can get something done for us."
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they got everybody else taken care of, but for us, we get the redhead stepchild treatment.
Real
We
talk.
advocate for our own neglect. It's Stockholm Syndrome at its finest. And this is the hamster wheel. This is the roller coaster ride that we sign up for every single election cycle without fail. So much so to the point that these people who, again, are dependent on our goodwill and our charity to come and support them, to vote for them, in some cases even donate our hard-earned money to their campaigns. When we start kissing our teeth, rolling our eyes, sulking, they ain't do nothing for us. Why they ain't do this? Why they do this for them over there? They have become so spoiled and fat and obese off of the free unearned votes that we've given them that they turn around and try to shame us. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Yeah.
Pulling up on radio stations, talk about it. I got hot sauce in my bag.
Yeah.
Pulling out chicken to eat. Insulting our intelligence, talking nonsense about, well, when I was coming up, I listened to Tupac and Snoop Dogg when they weren't even out like that in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of pandering and insults. And we're getting slapped in the face and don't even recognize we're getting slapped in the face. Cheeks red and everything, got fingerprints. You can go and put out some baby powder and go and run the prints and find out who did it and everything. The purpose of voting is not to go and enrich others. It is to get benefits for you and yours, for your group. Other people getting their needs met is not a win for you. Last time I checked, the meal that Anthony ate does not make me go to the bathroom. Never has, never will.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to get it together. If you are politically immature, politically ignorant, that's okay. Everyone has to start somewhere. First stop you need to do, go to Powernomics.com, grab you a copy of Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Powernomics. That's step one. This is a brother who is not just a historian. He's not just an economist. This is a brother who has served and held political office in the state of Florida. Under him, to this day, when he served, I believe, as the Secretary for Education for the state of Florida, to this day, we have not had more black people, qualified black people, let me add that as well, not just throw-ins, We have not had more black people placed in office and positions to serve under that administration than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Affirmative action, as we know it, was actually legislation proposed by Dr. Claude Anderson. Now it's been bastardized and flipped, but initially when it was presented, it was meant to be a plan of action to benefit black people. He is the father of affirmative action. Not as we know it today, but he's the father, the architect of affirmative action.
Yes.
This is a brother who knows and understands politics at a level most of us can't even fathom. He is, you don't have to take a political science class. Dr. Anderson is the political science class.
Agreed.
You understand this concept of how power works, about how it doesn't start from the top down. The whole concept of trickle down economics is BS. It starts at the grassroots and works its way up because the top is supposed to be responding to the base, the soil. Read that book. Understand how politics works, and then start wielding powernomics, because all these other groups that we see who get benefits for themselves, they actually exercise powernomic principles. They're living powernomic principles. We are not. That is why they're seeing results and we are not. That's what needs to be done. If you're ignorant, there's no shame in being ignorant. There's tremendous shame in being ignorant and choosing to remain ignorant. Now you're a dumbass. You've evolved. Congratulations. Get in the know. We have to stop. It's high past midnight. We're too late in the game for this now. We need to have all cylinders clicking. We need to get with it, because if you haven't noticed, we're being steamrolled. We're being murdered with impunity. We're being gentrified out of our neighborhoods. We're having economic roadblocks placed up all around us. We're being placed in positions where we have to make horrible decisions. We literally got the devil and the deep blue sea on either side of us. And we're forced there because we have no options, because we do not have any economic power. As Jason Black has so eloquently placed it, we are victimized. We're victimized because we're poor, but we're hated because we're black.
Mm-hmm.
How do we correct that? We got to get our paper up. How does that happen? It starts with politics, because we need people who are going to create policies that allow us to get our weight up economically. Once the economic weight is in place, then we can start going ahead and adjusting all the different areas of the society, the law enforcement, the legal areas, the policy areas, the educational areas, all the different areas of people activity where we're affected in different ways. But it starts with understanding how politics actually works, not the mamsy-pamsy nonsense that they put in civics books in grade school for K to 12, but real politics.
Real talk. Politics is about money.
Definitely. That's so dope, so real. Everything you guys said was spot on. I want to bring Mona Lisa up. She said she wanted to talk about politics real quick. Mona,
Yo,
go ahead and tell us what we need and the people need to hear.
Good evening, brothers. Thank you so much. My bad, I'm just not ready for camera. So if that's all right. As it relates to thank you so much for what y'all doing. I really appreciate the conversation. Thank you for allowing me to share space and actually come up. My name is Mona Lisa Weber, creator of Probation Station and Community Work YouTube channel. So this is a very important topic because as all of you know, I do a lot of groundwork, and I've been heavily involved in local politics the last couple of years. Mind you, I'm in my late 40s and just started learning about politics several years ago. Okay, so I'm late in the game, but I've been submerged in it. So one of the things that I wanted to share with the audience, this is very, very, very important. We cannot get distracted with presidential elections because that is their goal. So what I began to learn through the process, remember, I'm learning from a raw perspective. I don't know anything, right? So as I'm moving in these spaces, the more I'm learning, I'm like, yo, we getting like played out, like we getting played on a local level. So when we talk about making change locally, we have to start looking at like the cities, right? So let's talk about a particular city that may have 5 districts. in order to make any change, you feel me, you need that vote. Like, so if there's 5 districts, you need 3 people to agree, right? So 3 cities need to agree, right? So what happens is they create Slum and Blight on purpose, because what I began to learn was there's a CRA that's pretty much put in place, and it's called the Community Redevelopment Agency, right? And I came to find out these mofos got 25 to 30-year plans, and everything is within the city. You can go get these plans. So they put so much effort into creating Slum and Blight. They also put a lot of effort in Our Votes Don't Count. And I'm talking locally. I don't give too much damn about presidential and the statewide. Yeah, we got to get to that. But local is what is affecting us every single day.
Yes.
So when we're looking at local elections, right, you get like all type of funding, because cities are like nonprofits. It's like, let's say, for example, cityofhollywood.org, Pompano Beach so-and-so.org. So there's money that comes in, and this money is supposed to be distributed in a fair manner. So while they're creating Slum and Blight, which tends to be the Black community, there's a lot of emphasis on the vote don't count. And then we're talking about local commission races. Man, we talking about 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 votes, bruh. So what we need to do is we need to start putting our people in these spaces, but we got to do it like 3 cities at a time. You see what I'm saying? Because if you only vote in one commissioner that rocks with us, you're not going to get anything done, because the other 4 are in agreement. There's a book called Reinventing Your City, and it's an 8-step book. And I met the author. She's an urban planner out of Northern Broward. You feel me? Okay. And the shit that I done began to learn is crazy. Like, we getting played, because when I went to the master development meeting, D mofos talking about, yeah, this has been a 30-year plan. And when I questioned about what you mean there's a 30-year plan, so y'all intentionally creating Slum and Blight, they gave me some fancy smancy wording, and I'm like, listen, man, like, I may look dumb because I ain't got no fancy suit, but like what y'all telling me is like, this is being done. And then within the past so many 30 years, they done created like, they implemented infrastructure, all the water stuff, all the underground water has been redone. You feel me? So they have their plan in place. So the reason they distract us from the local elections is because every commissioner that gets that gets voted in, must be in like agreement with the plans that are already in place. You see what I'm saying? This shit real deep out here, bruh. Like, straight up, like, I've been blown away, because we don't know nothing about politics.
Right.
People, I'm talking about the stop sign is politics. You feel me? The speed bump is politics. The school is politics. The cameras is politics. The red lights is politics. Every business is politics. They use court enforcement against our communities to give us fines and fees so we could lose our businesses. We need to get heavily involved in these commission meetings. I went to the Broward County budget meeting last week. Do you know how many homeowners are struggling? Man, people crying in that shit. I got emotionally charged because I was supposed to speak and I chose not to speak because I was finna go in. Like, people, there's a budget for everything. There's enough money for everybody, but you got the other districts stealing from the districts in the Black community. This is real. I'm seeing it. So I just wanted to let like people know that, because this is very important. Like, we done in South Florida. You feel me? We out of here. We too late. Well, I seen that in the meeting. I went up to I want to say Deerfield. I went up to a Deerfield meeting one time. This was years ago, and I was listening to the budget that they were doing.
between the commission. And did you know that they took money, they actually took funding away for our people? I forgot what service the money was for. It was something for Black people, because it was on the, in their field, it was on the east side. Like they were doing budget on the east side, and they were talking about budget on the west side. So on the east side, you know, where the white people stay at, on the east side of the tracks. On the west side is where the Black people stayed at. And I got that right? Right,
yeah.
Mona?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the west side, there was services that was dedicated and allocated to the Black people. They took that, cut that budget so that they could spare the golf course that wasn't doing anything. People weren't going to the golf course anymore. They didn't want to shut it down or nothing like that. So instead of them shutting down the golf course, they said, okay, we're going to take the money out of the Black area and use it to fund the golf course, because we want the golf course to be there. Forget what the Black people got going on, but we want this golf course to be there. And they voted on it and they succeeded with that. And that shit blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
But it lets you know that these people are very vicious, and they don't give two craps about Black lives like they say they do. They'll sit here and they rehearse your song. They'll sit here and shake your hand. They'll sit here and ask you to take pictures, and they go right in these rooms and do the complete opposite of what they said they were going to do when they talked to you in the first place. And me, that's one of the reasons why I do not take pictures with anybody. I got to know your work to know if I take pictures with you. I'm very unapologetic about my image. So, you know, that's how it goes. I just wanted to say that real quick, Mona.
I know, I appreciate that. Like, I'm glad you saw it live. And want some of the solutions that I have, if I may, because we got to start going into solutions, right? Like applicable things that can be done. So in understanding that these commission meetings are very long, you know what I'm saying? Some of the things that I've suggested is like certain cities need to come up with a fund to pay at least 2 or 3 people to go in there. Feel me? $100 a day. We must go to these city commission meetings. This is very, very important. Now, I don't really know about South Florida no more. You feel me? Because like it's pretty much out of here. Like we done. It's just too much has already been invested. So if people are moving to other cities where, you know, development hasn't been like, you know, like if they're early in their stages, we need to start getting involved. You know what I mean? And really looking at, well, like what the city looks like, what the plans are in place, and then start going to those city commission meetings and putting yourself in position to be able to get those contracts, to be able to get, because at the end of the day, man, they don't give a fuck. So we got to be proactive. You see what I'm saying? It's on us now. Straight up, yeah. Like it's on us. Like we got to get this shit done, because them folks run up there. If there's cats, too many cats in the yard, like these people fill up. This is like part of their lifestyle. It has to become part of our lifestyle. And if we don't want to do it, we need to send 3 or 4 people in these city commission meetings, pay them to write notes and bring it back. And it has to be like intergenerational, because we need different perspectives. The young people, the older folks, the people in their 30s and 40s. Like this shit's real important. Because that's why we don't have any businesses. You feel me? That's why there's no fruitfulness in the Black communities in the hood. Like it's ridiculous. So that's what I really, you know, I wanted to say that, because since I'm older, I'm really seeing like and experiencing this, and it's something that we really need to know. And if not us, we need to pour it into the youth so they become part of the process as they get older and know what the city plans are, so they can position themselves economically. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to position ourselves economically. Fuck all that other shit they be talking about. You know, like we got to do our own schools or teach our own children. If you're going to put them in public schools, you need to teach them separately. And we got to do this like proactively, and we got to do it. We can't wait on them. You feel me? We got to put pressure on them, and they fold when you put pressure.
They do.
So, you know, I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, we appreciate you too.
Before you get off, let the people know about the men's retreat that you're doing up there on the property.
Yeah.
Real quick before you get off.
Oh man, I appreciate you. So one of the visions is we have land, 5.5 acres. And in understanding, me doing a lot of groundwork, a lot of these things come from a perspective of experience, perspective of a lot of pain, particularly to people that, you know, are on the ground. And one of the things that I realized is that I've always been able to develop great relationships with men. I love our men in all of their flaws, from the bottom to the top. And I believe that our men need safe spaces and deep healing. They do not trust each other. There's a lot going on amongst men. And one of the visions was to create a safe space that connects to nature, that connects to, you know, hunting and bonding and barbecues and, you know, therapy and just like, I'm talking about rural area, peaceful, very, very quiet. So it's an opportunity for men to, you know, sit within themselves and also bond with others, and, you know, all type of just goodness, you know, healthy juices, because I'm a certified juice therapist. Just a lot of healing, everything from like a healing perspective. But yeah, so we created a space for our men to come together. It's intentional, no more than 10 at a time, to really just, you know, be in their space. Like, you know, it's just, I believe our men, when they're healthy, they can lead. And that's what we need. We as women need our men to lead. Like, whether women want to admit it or not, you feel me? Like, there's always an urge for falling back and wanting someone to lead. So our men need to like heal and step up and get with other men that could teach them. A lot of egos got to get out the way, because we need y'all, like in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like in real life, we need our men. Like it's a lot of it's a lot. So it's Great Rising Farms, you feel me? It's all about love, healing, sharing resources, bonding. And it's all for, you know, the healing for the next generation. Like, we in state of an emergency, and I want to be the solution.
So when that's up and running, can you come back on and let us know, so that way we could get the people familiar with that, and definitely have them, you know, cater towards to what they need to do to sign up in order to get on board with that. So definitely, can you come back and let us know when that is, whenever that time frame is, and then we can have you on space and definitely disperse that information for our people.
Yes. I will definitely do that. We want to share the space. We want to show it off. You know, we're kind of packaging everything, but the best part is, like, we've created relationship with farmers. So there's going to be like fresh meat, you know, from farm to table, you know, like everything just naturally grown. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I'll definitely come back, share it. We want to do like a little video and everything, and just really, so 2024, that's kind of like the target that we're looking at.
That's what's up.
All right. I appreciate that so much, Queen. Thanks for coming up, and we'll definitely chat with you in a bit.
All right. Peace and blessings to y'all. Keep doing what y'all doing.
Appreciate you.
Much love, Mona.
For sure.
Yo.
All right. So definitely we'll go on to our next question. We doing some fire here, but we gotta keep it pushing. So our next question is, okay, how long will it take for us to be self-contained worldwide?
Wow. Interesting that question should come right off the heels of what Mona Lisa just said. I mean, that is the goal, right? You know what I'm saying? For us to be, self-contained. I can't put a time on it. I can't, because that is contingent on us waking up as a people. And that paradigm shift taking place that needs to take place, where we get our mind off of silliness, and we start to focus on real things. Like Sister just said, they have these town hall meetings, they have these local meetings where they discuss things like empowerment zones and so forth, and where money is going to be allocated. I hear an echo somewhere. Where money is going to be allocated to help with some of the things that we need. And nobody's going to these things because nobody cares, because everybody's at the strip club, because everybody's watching Basketball Wives, because everybody's mind is on some bullshit other than building the community and strengthening the community. So unfortunately, there is no answer. The answer is when we get serious. It's really that simple. Look, if Black folks wanted to take hold of our community and get shit in place and start moving and shaking and start bouncing our money within our community and start focusing on what we need to do and being Black first and, really just handling business in a serious manner, we could turn things around overnight. Not literally overnight, but, in a few months, we'd be in a much better space because we'd be cognizant of how we're moving. And, we'd be making the right moves, so to speak. I know that sounds very cliche, but, truth be told, we're just not very serious and focused on doing the proper things, to build the nation. We're not. We have our minds on a lot of foolishness, a lot of nonsense. Like I said earlier, we need to be more politically mature, more politically astute, and in a societal manner as well. We need to be more socially aware and more socially astute, not just spend our money on anything, not just willy-nilly spend our money at all. We need to save, we need to invest, we need to be able to focus on these type of things before we can focus on those type of things. Because when you talk about being self-maintained, you're talking about Black people having their own schools, Black people having their own banks, Black people, like I said, bouncing our money around in our communities, spending it with other Black businesses 4 or 5, 6 or 7 times before it leaves the community. That means being cognizant of how you're spending. You understand what I'm saying? And not just wasting money on nonsense. We have a huge role. We have the role of deciding when that happens. And that's why we're doing these shows, so that we can wake more people up, so that we can have a critical mass of people reach the level of consciousness that is required in order to make any type of significant change in a positive direction, to do something like being self-maintained, a self-maintained community, if that answers your question. I mean, that is the answer. It's really up to us. And the quicker, hey, maybe you can be one of the people that gets out here and helps us wake other people up. Maybe you can be one of those people that's part of that change. Maybe you can start, spending with Black businesses and, saving money and investing properly and, teaching, other people about Black empowerment. The sooner we reach that goal where more of us know about and are actively pursuing Black empowerment, and we're actually putting the actions into place, like Mona Lisa just talked to us about politics, and nobody's in the damn town halls. Nobody's getting out here and forcing these politicians, putting pressure on them. Because like she said, if you pressure them, they break. But nobody's pressuring them because nobody's serious. So we got to get serious is the short answer to that. And we can make our own timeline.
Yeah, I agree. Only thing that I would say on that is start with your own enclave. You got 5 people that think like you, that's about that. Go get it done. We got people right now that's building communities in Texas that I know of. I think there was a family that built a bunch of land. They bought a bunch of land in Georgia, and they're building their own community on. So we're seeing the people, they're out here doing the work. The problem is the major media isn't going to show you that. It's just grassroots that get the information. But, you know, with More Empowerment Radio coming this year, 2024, we want to get more into highlighting these areas. We'll definitely have conversations. If we can jump on some planes and go to these people and start doing live interviews and let them do a tour guide in these communities. Because see, what happens is we get inspired when we see things. Like I tell people all the time, representation matters. You know, we just did the Queen check with Coco the other day for winning her US Open, but then before Coco, it was Osaka. Before Osaka, then it was the sisters, Serena and Venus. And before her was the instructor Kim and other tennis players, women tennis players before that. They all inspired each other. They all saw the greatness and they wanted to be part of that greatness. But if they didn't see that, they didn't think it was possible. You know, a lot of people saw President Obama and they was like, yo, I want to get into politics. So when we see the representation, we see that, we get inspired to that. We don't think like it's a far-fetched thing. We say, now I see somebody that's like me doing it. I want to go do that. Let me go grab my 5 friends and let's invest and go grab a piece of property and go do that. And then you have your enclave build here and another enclave build here and another enclave build here. Next thing you know, you got all these prospering cities that grassroots people built. And then y'all come together and y'all got this one big nation of people that are on the same page. It's like the Blind Melon song that I love so much. You know, I forgot the name of it, but I brought it up the other day. And, you know, in the show, it was a girl with a bumblebee and she was going to different places on stage and they were booing her. She was entertaining other people and they were throwing sandwiches and apples at her. And then at the end of the song, she ended up seeing a field full of bumblebees and she ran in through the gate and went to the field and she was dancing with the bumblebees, having fun with the bumblebees. And her life went from miserable to the ultimate happiness. And what that video was saying is, everywhere you go, you're going to find people that you're going to bump heads with it, that you're not going to line up with. But keep going and you're going to find your tribe. And once you find your tribe, it's the best feeling in the world. And that's all I have. And I land my plane on that.
Real talk. Bobby, we can't hear you.
As per usual, y'all are slicing and dicing.
Yeah.
But you know, like you said, it starts at a macro, at a micro level. So again, in order to, and this isn't just true for this concept, but for any concept, if you have a goal, if you have a huge, really big goal, whether it's this or anything else, you want to become a millionaire. Let's say you want to land your dream job. You have an overarching goal. Maybe you don't ever want to have to work for somebody again. You want to work for yourself. You want to have your own income generating. Or maybe you want to be able to pull a Richard Williams. You want to be able to, you have a child that's really passionate about tennis or football, whatever. You want to get the child to greatness. Whatever the case may be. Anytime you have a really large goal, the first thing you have to do is you have to chop it up into bite-sized pieces. Because anything you say, you can say, oh, well, I want to do this, or, I want to do that one of these days, whatever. It's just a dream. It's just a fantasy. It's a daydream. As kids, we did it all the time. So, man, when I get old, I want to have a fire truck. Ooh, I like fire trucks. Now me, I want to have my own spaceship. We just talk all kind of nonsense, pulling stuff out of our rear ends. I want a unicorn. We had goals and dreams that didn't even make a lick of sense. Like, stuff you want don't even exist. Stop it. And as adults, we still do that sometimes. We'll talk about, fellas talk about a dream car. Someone will tell you, I want to have a Lamborghini Testarossa. Somebody will tell you, I want a Pagani Zonda or whatever. Someone might say, I want a Lotus Exige, or I want this, that. We talk about these things at all levels. You don't have to be a child to have dreams or things that you'd love to have one day, whatever. What separates it from being a dream to being a goal, and then from being a goal to something that's actually has action steps that you can get to, is chopping up. You got to chop it. You got to get into the bare bone mechanics. All right, well, let's start with the car. Okay, I want a Lamborghini. All right, bet. First things first. How much does a Lamborghini cost? Okay, that's how much it costs for a Lamborghini is. What are the other costs? Because you have to be thorough. You have to be detail-oriented. The more detail-oriented you can become, the more and the better action steps you can take to get to this goal. So, okay, so that's how much the sticker price of the car is. Bet. What are the other costs associated? What's the maintenance fees like? What's the availability of parts? If a tire goes flat, if there's something wrong with the engine, spark plugs, whatever, something's out of whack. How much did it cost me to acquire these things? Do I know of, or how many different maintenance people do I know that I can call on? If there's something wrong, I can get a quote. Or am I going to be stuck with the dealership for repairs and servicing on this car? All these different things involving this car, you need to know. You need to know about as much of the cars as the dealership does, if not more. Then once you do that, do I have the bread to afford this car? Probably not if it's just a dream. All right, bet. So what do I need to be able to stack up the paper to get this car? How do I get this job? What do I need to do? How much do I need to save? Is there financing options? You need to know all this, but the more information you have, the better able you are to go ahead and make plans to go ahead and get this car. So now, the hell with the car. We ain't talking about the cars. How do we become self-sufficient? What does it require? First things first, when you talk about self-sufficiency, that basically means you and your crew, whoever, that's it. So you need to ask yourself, what does it take to make a society work? What is involved in that? That's a difficult question to ask. Here's how you get more specific. If white people, because we understand that the dominant society basically runs all the levers of power, I believe it was, I want to attribute it to Jason Black. I don't know if it was him or somebody else who said it. But somebody once said, and it's ridiculously true, you can be a wealthy white person. It is possible in America, even today, to be a wealthy white person and actually not know a single solitary black person. You can be from Idaho, Montana, Wisconsin, someplace, wherever. It's possible to become rich, to become wealthy, and not know a single solitary black person. But it is impossible to be a rich or wealthy black person without knowing some white people. It's not possible.
True.
Because there's not a single industry in this country, not a single position, not a single job, not a single corporation, not a single business entity that does not have white people running it. So the question is, if all the white people were to up and disappear tomorrow, or maybe we just, Jeff Bezos, whatever, stop playing around, Elon Musk stopped playing around, they finally got their space programs up and running, and now we finally can live on Mars, and it's just black people up there. Or all the white people leave and they go to Mars. Either way, we're all by ourselves. Do we have the skills? Do we have the knowledge? Do we have the ability to go ahead and fill all these different gaps? Do we have people that are engineers? Do we have enough people who can go ahead and run food distribution? Do we have enough scientists? Do we have enough doctors? What does it take to run society? Can we meet the need? It starts there. It's no secret that a lot of people from different countries, they talk about it a lot in the Asian countries, but their children, for the most part, they have very little say-so in what careers they're going to have when they're growing up. In a lot of families, it's expected from childhood, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a dentist, you're going to be a cardiologist, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be an educator. You are going to do things that's going to benefit our community, but also our families or group, and it's understood. I have non-black friends and associates who in their families, they come from a long line of such and such. I got a friend that just left. He's about 3 years younger than me. He just left from med school. Just reported back, had his first medical exam, murdered it. 100 out of 100. Went to go celebrate, doing a short vacation over in Dominican Republic. We'll be back at it again this week, studying, preparing for the next course. But his father is a doctor. His brother is a doctor. It's understood. This is what we do. We have to start being very intentional about the dreams and goals we give our children. So it's perfectly fine for our children to have dreams and aspirations. That's fine. But we have to understand we need to start coaching our children towards success. You don't get a Venus and Serena Williams without parents that are willing to go ahead and place that on their children. And it's not oppressing them. It's not robbing them from, no. You're putting them in a direction that's going to yield benefit for them and for their people. You are giving them the track to go on because your kids have no life experience. They don't understand things like bills and job security, essential workers. How many people had careers when the pandemic hit and came to find out, your job really ain't worth too much because we can do without this. We can't do without them. We can do without you. We have to, part of the maturity is doing what needs to be done. So everything that you want to do in life can't always be something that you love. If you love working with Play-Doh, that's your life's passion. I doubt you're going to be able to turn working with Play-Doh into a profession. Sometimes you have to learn how to make work fun. I don't necessarily like this, but I'm going to find a way to adapt to it. Or if you can't do that, if the options available or suck, maybe you're doing a job that you really don't like, then grind hard enough at it, make enough paper at it so that the life outside of work is a paradise. And the work you do is literally funding that. But either way, you have to bite the bullet and you have to get practical. Practicality will open the doors for enjoyment later on. But everything can't be a field day and a picnic. So we have to get practical about what do we need to be self-sufficient. See the need, meet the need. Break down what it takes to achieve that into bite-sized pieces, the smaller the better, and then come up with action steps. Today is September. By December, I need to have this accomplished. By January, I need to get this done. If March comes and I'm not here, I'm slacking. Have people keep you accountable. Find friends with like minds who are similarly disciplined, and y'all do the same thing. Y'all set your individual goals, hold each other accountable. Power moves, boss moves. That's how it's done. And make sure that you got your household on that same page, because a community is nothing but a bunch of families together. That's all it is. There's nothing magical to it. When your household is on track, the next man's household is on track, the next woman's household on track, that household can come together. And now you don't have just a family that's on the right track. You have a group that's on track. You have a block that's on track. A neighborhood that's on track. A city that's on track. A state that's on track. A country that's on track. A people that's on track. So get to work.
Well said.
That's what's up.
Well said.
So you guys got the basic gist of it. It's basically starting small, building your tribe, and then it'll get to where it needs to get to on the large scale. What you gonna say, Major?
No, I was just agreeing with what he said. I said it's very well said, very eloquently put. As always, that's what my brother do. That's what my brother do. That's how he get down.
Exactly. All right, so we're gonna get into the next question, which is the importance of having a 5 to 10 year plan, goal setting, and the beauty of follow-up. All right, so with that, it's just a basic thing that I'm gonna say, just real short. Everybody, and I've done this with little children. I always advise it with little children, teenagers, and adults. Everybody in that household needs to do what we call a vision board, right? Your children need to do a vision board. You need to do a vision board. Your teenagers need to do a vision board. You can do a short-term vision board, have them do a vision board that they can knock out in 1 year. You'll be so surprised of what you can do within the vision boards of just labeling what you need to accomplish and knocking it out. And then you have your 2 to 5 year vision board, and then you have your 10 or more year vision board. I advise it for singles and couples. If you're in a relationship with somebody, that every around the first of the year, you guys should be working on your vision board. Right after Christmas, between the day after Christmas up to the first, you guys should be working on your vision board. So when the first come, you guys are starting from day one all the way to the end of the year, knocking out what you have on your vision board. Very effective. I've used it for years. When I don't use it, I don't accomplish what I've accomplished. My radio station, I've accomplished my brand, more empowerment. I've accomplished so many things that I set out to do that I end up doing. Traveling, I knocked out some places on traveling that I wanted to do. You don't understand the powers of having a vision board. Invest in it.
Yes, sir. All right. Simple enough. That's it. Yeah, to piggyback off of that, I've never done a vision board before. So this can no, never done a vision board before, but this is the beauty of this, because this can highlight different styles. You understand what I'm saying? However, just the general concept. A lot of people, I remember one time I broke up with a girl for this reason. Mm-hmm. She was in a class, as a girl I used to work with. And in a class at work where they were training, they asked her what her plan was. Where does she see herself in 5 years? Mm-hmm. Mind you, she was 28 at the time.
Yeah.
Still living with her parents, whatever the case may be. And she said she had no idea. Biggest turnoff I've ever probably experienced from a girl that I was dating. Yeah. Because I really liked her. And and I felt embarrassed because everybody else in the class was kind of clowning her. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how are you 28 years old with a child and you have no idea where you see yourself in 5 years? Yeah. Now, I get it. When you're younger, maybe that's a little more acceptable. But by the time you get that age, you should kind of have a clue. This show is really, some children might watch, some younger people, but we have a very adult, very mature audience. And I'm here to tell you, man, you need to at least have a vision of some sort of where you are going. A lot of people don't even have that. You're talking about vision boards, and that's cool. I respect the vision board people. That's a very organized approach. I respect that. But some people don't even have literally a clue. Mm-hmm. And these are grown ass people. You have to have an idea of where you're going to be 5 to 10 years from now. No exceptions. If you don't right now, go and brainstorm with some people that are close to you. Go and look online and check out some things that will benefit you and think, what can I accomplish in this 5 year, in a 5 year or 10-year span? Why? Because if you don't, you end up meandering aimlessly and wasting time and running in place. And you don't get anything accomplished because you're pissing off all your time. So that's my message. Just, for some of y'all out there that, may not be as savvy as the vision board thing, if you can get that popping, even better. That's fantastic. But we need to be in the mindset, all of us, especially Black folks, because if we don't have a plan, it always ends up in chaos. You understand what I'm saying? People of other races may not have a plan, doesn't end so poorly. If Black people don't have a plan, it's going to end in chaos. Yeah. So we need to have our 5 to 10 year plans ready. We need to be prepared in case of disaster. We need to have emergency food. I got freeze-dried food. How many of y'all out there got freeze-dried food? I got freeze-dried food that I can store for up to 20 years. You understand what I'm saying? Buckets of that shit. So some shit pop off, you know what? I'm prepared. Mm-hmm. Our sister is speaking to preparedness in emergency situations. Look what happened to the people in Hurricane Katrina. Mm-hmm. Let that be an example to you. Some of those people couldn't help it. You understand what I'm saying? The position that they were put in. But a lot of those things were preventable. Mm-hmm. Get you. We live in South Florida. Get you a generator. You understand? Have your weapons ready. In case some shit pop off, you won't be out here weaponless at the other end of somebody with a weapon in your face, sticking you up for your shit. No. It's very important. It is imperative that we be prepared and we get in the general psyche, the general thought process of preparing ourselves short term and long term. That's why that was such an excellent question, because she's speaking to shorter term and longer term. What are your plans, not for one, but for both? And you should have plans in place, things that you should, that you can better yourself with. You want to talk about, hey, you want to have a child by this time. Hey, you want to increase your money that you're bringing in annually by this much by this time. You want to own a home by this time, and so forth and so on. The way that we accomplish those things is to set hardcore goals and meet them. Period. I'll land my plane there. We can do it. We have to.
Something I didn't want to interrupt your flow because you was on one.
Yeah.
But to tack on something else, people talk about hurricanes all the time. But what about some other things that happen that can go wrong? So our family up in Buffalo, not only were they victimized by that white supremacist terror attack, man comes in there with body armor and firearms, executing. Only one of those lone security retired police officer had a gun on him. He was the first one taken out. No one had the means to defend themselves or to defend the other patrons there. And so ultimately, it wasn't until he was taken out or he turned the gun on himself that the situation ended. But to make matters worse, they were further victimized because, unfortunately, that was the only grocery store of note in that community. Everybody else had to go once. So once the stores closed down, because they have to do a whole investigation, it's roped off. No one can do any business there. Many people were in bad shape because they had no means to get to any of the food places. It was basically a food desert at that point. Wow. That was the only place to get food. So there was no storm. There was no hurricane this, no cyclone that, no blizzard. But there was a situation where people were unable to go and find food, and either had to find someone who had a car or who was able to travel distances or bring food to them or whatever the case may be. Some people had to walk. Some people might have to catch the bus for miles to get to another food store or what have you. They weren't prepared. And I'm not saying that to jump up on the family, God forbid, not at all. But just a real life practical example of things that happen now. The odds that are happening to you, pretty low.
Yeah.
Pretty low indeed.
Yeah.
But as my mother's always fond of saying, it doesn't matter if the odds are 100% or 1%. You only need to be you one time. It only needs to be you one time.
Once. One and done.
And if you get caught slipping, this is real life. There are no, say in a video game, there are no extra mushrooms. There's no bonus lives that you can tap in. There's no cheat code where you can go and start over again. That's it.
Right.
Worse. So it said in the word that when there is no vision, the people perish. And that's real talk in a number of different ways, literally and figuratively. The reality is, whether you have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan or not, whether you have a vision for your life, and a lot of, I really addressed this a lot in the last point that I made before, but the reality is that each and every single one of us, we are living in a world where the people in power, for good or for bad, the people who make decisions, the people who are in places where we're buying their products, we're buying their services, we're living in homes, we're driving cars, we are all living in a world that is made up and composed of the visions and plans of other people. Everything. It's not a piece of food that touched your lips today. There isn't a beverage that you sipped. If you sat in a chair, if you enjoyed some air conditioning, if you went swimming in a pool, if you went to the beach, if you went online to check your email. Nothing that you did today is the result of oopsie or just happenstance.
Heavy.
They're the results of plans, visions,
Heavy.
dreams, goals. You are literally living manifestations. I mean, it gets no realer than that. All these items that we have today. For God's sake, we're on the internet right now talking to people that we've never seen. They're hearing us and watching us.
How
They're watching
about that?
recordings? All of this, none of this is organic. All of this is a result of people having a vision and a plan, developing it, and every step of the way, somebody took the baton, took it to the next level. All of this. If you do not simulate, it doesn't have to be as grand as designing the internet or piecing together technology, what have you. It doesn't have to be anything as lofty as that. But even on a small micro level, if you do not have a plan, if you like that sister Major knew who at 28, with the child that she's responsible for, who's depending on her, can sit there and say, I don't know what I want, or I don't know what's coming, what I'd like to have in the next 5 years. You will be at the mercy of those who have a plan. If you don't have a plan for yourself, trust me, a lot of people got a plan for you.
Yes.
A lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
You think the line for Jordan's on release day is something? Even back in the day? Nah. There is a line around the globe of people who have a plan for your life. You don't have a plan for you. That's okay. Don't worry. You don't have a plan. You embodying somebody's plan. Somebody's vision is going to come to fruition.
Real talk.
Now, the question is it going to be your vision or the next man's? And odds are, spoiler alert, odds are you're not going to like their plan too much. To what degree? Depends. But I'm pretty sure you're not going to be nearly as enthusiastic about it as they are. Handle your business, or your business will handle
you.
I like that. This was one quote that was told to me. Either you find out what you're going to do, whether it's to go build your business, or somebody's going to find you to help you build theirs.
How about that? Heavy game. Heavy game alert.
You're working for everybody right now. If you're not self-employed, you're working for some CEO.
Yeah.
You're working for some president.
Real talk.
Some owner.
You're building somebody's dream. Remember that.
Listen, when I broke up with that girl, people told me I was shallow. I'm like, bro, the whole shit went right over your head. Because look, if you like, okay, well, I'm not sure, but I'm open to talk about it or whatever. So, I'm working on it. I have no idea. And I don't really care. What? We should be outraged when we're around people like that talk like that. That's all I'm saying. I know it sounds harsh, but you see what happened when you get rid of that? I found me a winner. Found me a winner. You dig? See, when you get rid of that type of bullshit around you, that makes space for you to find you a winner and somebody that's going to motivate you. Because a person like that can't motivate you.
Yeah.
They don't understand what motivation is.
Yeah.
That was an issue of a values conflict.
Man,
your values and her values did not align. And see, here's the funny thing about that shallow word, and conventional wisdom in society and culture has taught us to find the term shallow to be offensive. You're shallow, that's a bad thing. The reality is there's two sides to that I want to point out real quick. So I'm not going to, because we have other questions we got to get to. I'm not going to belabor the point. But two ideas or concepts about shallowness. First and foremost, it's easy to call a swimming pool shallow if all you're doing is standing in the 3-foot section. You take a few more steps, you find the 4 foot, the 5 foot, the 6 foot. it's an Olympic size pool, you might even be in a 10-foot section, depending on where you're standing.
Yeah.
But if all you do is stand on the 3-foot section, it's really easy to call the pool shallow. And the other thing I want to say is, you know, you only need, I think what is it? You only need about 2 inches of water can kill you. 3 inches of water. If you lie face down, if you're not that cold, if you lie face down, you only need the water to cover your nose and mouth. If you can't adjust yourself to get some air, you can still die. So shallow water can still kill you.
It's a wrap.
The shallows.
Real talk.
So be mindful of people talking about being shallow. Maybe it's not that you're shallow. Maybe you're just deep, but they're not wading in your water.
Great analogy. Yeah. Exceptional.
Definitely. I'm glad you said that, because men are the ones who find women to fit in their system. Women don't find men to fit in theirs. Always keep that in mind, ladies.
Correct.
All right. Next question. Since your premiere show, have you and your co-host seen an elevation or positive changes based on the quality information you have provided? If so, give one example. I think we gave several examples.
We did.
Yeah, earlier, especially with Major getting people to pull the trigger, in his words, and, going from single to engaged and married. So there's so many things that we did. I think we talked about that earlier. So,
and Mona Lisa testified in the comments that, she found help in some of the referrals that I gave her, whatever the case may be. We got people in the comments giving the content for us, answering the questions. That's a beautiful thing.
Correct. So we can pass that one because we already answered that already. So the next question is, how does one handle a friend that is jealous of your relationship? Do you cut them off?
Absolutely. Look, I'm gonna put it like this. You can try initially to have a talk with them, and you can try to be diplomatic, but there's no real fix for that, because a quote unquote friend shouldn't be jealous of your relationship by default. That's supposed to be your friend. And a friend is supposed to want, especially if you have, I'm assuming the relationship is a good relationship. If it's not a good relationship, the emotion that they would have is not jealousy. The emotion that they would have is disapproval, or disdain, or whatever the case may be. If they are jealous of your relationship, that's a huge problem, because they have a disliking of your relationship because it makes them feel that your relationship with them is somehow inferior, when those two things should should complement each other. If they are truly your friend, those things are supposed to be complementary of one another. They're not supposed to conflict. And you have to understand, as a friend as well, if you have a person who's in a romantic relationship, your friendship is going to take a backseat to that. Period. There's no way your homegirl is ever going to be as close to you as your man, especially if you really love him. It just don't work like that. So I would try, if it's a really good friend, and the jealousy isn't something that has caused too many problems. Let's say that, because you have dormant jealousy and you have kinetic jealousy. You know what I'm saying? Where, they're actively doing things to sabotage the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So you have that, and then jealousy that just lies dormant. If it's, the dormant kind and you can try to talk to them and salvage things, sure, give it a shot. But if they're truly jealous of you and your relationship and your happiness is really what it is at the end of the day, that shouldn't be from someone who's truly your friend. And I've been there before, by the way.
Yeah.
That's why my circle's small.
Do you think that person has the possibility to have sex with that person that they're in a relationship with? Do you think because they have jealousy that they might want to have sex with that person?
Absolutely. Usually they do. usually they
Very well be.
usually they do. You dig? And that actually
Surprised.
goes across genders, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
hmm.
Absolutely. You kind of touched on a little bit what I was gonna get at the major
Okay.
because context is king. So um saying that they're jealous of your relationship, are they actually jealous? What's the actual gripe there? What's the complaint? Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
is it that they actually are just, salty about you being together, or do they see red flags and danger and you over here with, butterflies and gas and whatever else you have going on in your stomach and all kind of
Yeah.
lovey-dovey
It's
nonsense,
it's
whatever. You can't see the forest for the trees.
for
Because it
context.
happens.
It's a good relationship for context. It's a good
Yeah,
relationship.
Okay.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and say though,
Yeah.
just taking the face value is exactly what's being presented. Someone's
Mm-hmm.
jealous. First and foremost, if a friend is jealous of your relationship, your positive, healthy relationship, then by default, that ain't your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this person have a position, a job in your life that they clearly are not qualified for? And
Right.
that speaks to an issue of boundaries. I know we had an earlier episode of platform talking about boundaries,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
you need there's an issue that tells me that there's an issue with boundaries in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, if you don't get that squared away, that's going to rear its head in multiple other relationships. That's even going to rear its face in your romantic relationship with your partner. Because no matter who you are as people, we are going to come to conflict with one another. We're going to step on toes. We're going to hurt feelings. We're going to think, say, do the wrong thing. It's part of the human condition, charged to the game. It's not about what you have done per se, but it's about how you've done it, and more importantly, how you move beyond it, if it can be
Mm-hmm.
moved beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that helps limit the damage that can be done and also give you a clear course of action, or at least can narrow the field, the options, is having boundaries in place that are enforced.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find out what's your bottom, what is your line in the sand? What is it that you can allow people to cross? What is it that no one is allowed to cross? And even get more specific, how far past the line can they get? Are there any conditions? Can you afford to be leaning, or should you be leaning with somebody? Should, let's say, a friend have more leeway than a relative? Should your girlfriend have more leeway than a parent if a parent is being overbearing? Things to keep in mind. However, whatever the boundaries are, make sure that they're ones that you can live with, that you can accept. These are to be laws in your life. These are Bobby's laws. These are Anthony's laws. These are Major's laws. And the United States of Bobby, the United States of Anthony, the Soviet Republic of Major, this is king. You violate,
It's a
off
wrap.
with your head.
That's a wrap.
You need to set that, and you need to be unapologetic and forceful. You
Mm-hmm.
need to be aggressive and enforce those boundaries, because those boundaries are what keep you safe. They keep your head safe, your mind safe, your heart safe, and in some cases, they keep you physically safe.
Yes.
Because
Mm.
whatever you accept in life, you should expect. If you accept disrespect, then you should expect disrespect. Why should you expect anything else? So,
Yeah.
if you have a person who you know is being jealous, they're displaying jealous behaviors, they are hating in your face or behind your back, and you're still calling this person friend, that means you need to reevaluate your boundaries. Something's wrong. Call the maintenance person. Call Brinks. Call Ring Cam or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Something needs to be adjusted. Get your boundaries in order and enforce them, and make sure that whatever happens, the solution is terminal. Either they get right or they get left. I had a friend who spoke out to me, who asked for some insight the other day.
Mm.
She had a friend who she went on a trip with recently, and this friend was being a pure blood stone cold hater,
Mm-hmm.
completely hating on her behind her back. They're traveling together in different places. It's a busy weekend. The location they were going to was very packed. There's a lot of action going on during that time, and the person was being considerate of them, leaving them behind. They were having some issues with their card. They need to rely on another paying mechanism. They're having difficulties with that. The person's making jokes, talking about them, even running their mouth to complete strangers about the person.
Wow. Wow.
And so this is a person who's been known for having some shady behavior. And when she asked for some input for some of her friends, someone was saying, well, you know how such and such is. They didn't mean anything by it. When she asked my opinion, what do you think? I said, kick it to the curb.
You damn right.
Because this person, you guys are traveling, this person's supposed to be this your support system.
Mhm.
Y'all are each other's lifeline.
Right.
This is what you got to rely on? This is the person supposed to have your back because you know you have their back? No, that doesn't work. If you cannot trust on this person, rely on this person when you need to, then why are they there in your life for? We're not talking about anything superficial. This is life and death we're talking about.
Real talk.
Anything can happen. You could be injured. You could be kidnapped. Someone could be on your case, get robbed. Anything can happen. And this person is showing their whole entire ass, the cheeks, the crevice, the dimples, everything.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Think about Mexico.
Stop.
What about Mexico? What happened to that sister?
The more and I don't know this situation. We don't know the situation. We don't know the backstory behind that group of people. But one thing I do know is the more opportunities you give people to screw you over, the worse it's going to get until ultimately it might become something that cannot be walked away from.
Exactly.
You don't give people multiple chances to kick your ass. They get one good licking, okay, cool. I'm gonna take this black eye, but you ain't getting the other one.
Definitely. That's what's up. So the next one is a picture. All right. So they want to know what we thought about this picture. What comes to mind when you see this picture? What's your interpretation?
Bobby, you want to go first on this one?
First off, this looks like a borderline Tyler Perry playing action.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so you want me to go?
That dude ain't kissing ain't light skin enough for it to be the case. But there's a couple possibilities. I'm looking at it, and you potentially have the classic case of maybe the jilted lover. Maybe this was someone who has been waiting in the wings for their shot or whatever, and it just got passed over again for the umpteenth time. Especially if he knows that this dude ain't good for her or what have you. Could also be other case where maybe that's his lady and he just discovered that she's cheating on him.
Yeah.
Or maybe she just knows that there's someone in the background waiting on her, and this is something that she has in her pocket to play safely, what have you. Or it could also be a dude who had a good solid woman and he fumbled, and now he's watching her win with somebody new. Could be a lot of different things, but what I can, and I don't want to rob any answers from any of you guys, but what I ultimately am going to say is, like most art, it really depends on the state of the person observing it. So where you are at the moment, where your mind leads to, your experiences, that for the most part is going to inform what you see in there, or what resonates the most with you. Sometimes you look at your own situation and it just hits deeper for you. So, but there's a lot of different things that you can pull from that if you wanted to.
Yeah, I picked it up as the last thing you said. That's what I didn't think about the first two, which were pretty dope. But the last thing you said was, when I saw this picture, I said that she is happy and the dude fumbled her. That's her ex that fumbled her. And now he regrets it because she's now exuded in total happiness. That's how.
So what you're saying is I need to grow up. This is a very petty, mature moment. Sorry. Forgive me in advance. So what you're saying is buddy that's literally become the man bun for her. You're saying he's a week one Kadarius Toney.
He fumbled the ball, yeah. Yep, he didn't catch it. Multiple times to catch it.
Sorry.
He didn't catch
it. It might not happen again.
Most men, when they see that the woman that they had is living in total happiness, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of those guys, that's when that shit hit them the most.
Yeah.
Because when women are in total happiness, that moment she's in right now, that's leading to marriage. That means
Yes.
all that stuff he had before, cut the fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always tell people this one thing. Women are like animals. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that, right? But women are like animals. Think about the pet cat or the pet dog you have in your house. When they are with an abusive owner, they are terrified of that owner. That owner can't come close to them without that dog shivering or that cat just going berserk, trying to get away from that owner.
Lynching. Mm-hmm.
The minute that owner opens up that door, that cat is out. That dog is shut out that house.
Mm-hmm.
And the hardest thing for you as an owner to do is to get that animal back in that house, because that animal's like, hell no, I'm not getting back in that abusive house.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say women are just like animals in that instance is that a lot of times men mistreat women so bad, and women are just in this home, just bearing with it. But when a woman has enough and she's tired and she's fed up,
Mm-hmm.
that door opens, she is gone.
Speedy
And
Gonzalez.
you can never get her back in that house ever again. Because what happened was your greatest moment of reconciliation was to have that moment while you were in the house.
Real
The
talk.
minute she took that energy up, build up the courage to haul ass about that house, there's nothing you could do. You couldn't pay an amount of money to go back in that house.
If you think,
Yeah.
And that's what happens with a lot of guys. A lot of guys don't understand that once a woman reaches to that point,
Mm-hmm.
it don't matter what you do, what you say, she's not looking at you the same way, and she wants to be far away from you as possible.
Real talk.
So when you have that opportunity with the woman that you have, you better take Major's advice. Pull the trigger, stop playing, wife it. If you're not gonna do it, move out the way, and another dude's gonna do it. Point blank.
Real talk. I mean, yeah, that was kind of my the dude fumbled the ball and she found happiness because of the fact that I'm looking at the way this couple looks. She doesn't, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but she doesn't look mischievous. She doesn't look like she's doing something she shouldn't be. So I ruled out the cheating, right? These people just look like they're in a state of bliss. You know what I mean? And like they're together, like you say, Anthony, this looks like it's going to lead to marriage. And this guy's like, God damn it, she used to be my girl. And, R. Kelly wrote a whole song called A Woman Is Fed Up. I think Bobby was just, when a woman is fed up, I think Bobby was just jamming it in his head.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's real. When she's done, she's done. She's checked out mentally. And I think it's very telling where the picture is of that guy crying. It's in the back of her mind. That's where his face is. So in the back of her mind, maybe she knows about him and this is how he's feeling, but he's way in the back. He's no longer a factor. You understand what I'm saying? And the tears are streaming down his face because he messed up. And your animal analogy, no disrespect to the sisters, all love to the sisters, is spot on. Because I have a cat who happens to be a female. And she loves me to life. She will not get off of me. I can barely do my damn show. And my wife, I got the cat for my wife because she always wanted a pet.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing the echo, guys. She always wanted a pet. And that's the reason I got the cat. So she's like a little pissed because it's like, shit, she always comes to you. You know what I'm saying? She don't really pay me dust. And I'm like, my mom put it out there. She's like, yeah, she comes to you because you saved her.
Yeah.
Not, and the lady that she lived with is a perfectly nice lady, but she's a dog lady. And she had these two vicious hounds in her house. You know what I'm saying? These two big, oversized, vicious, loud ass hounds. They used to constantly harass the cat. We couldn't get her to come down off the lift when I went to off the loft. When I went to go to get her and put her in the cat cage, she was up in the loft. She wouldn't
Yeah.
come down, terrified.
Yeah.
So yeah, when a woman finds that, to draw the analogy, to make the analogy complete, when a woman finds that safe space,
Yeah.
bro, she's gone and ain't nothing you could do about it. You'll never get her back in a million years. I don't care how much she loved you before. It just is
Correct.
what it is.
The 3
Correct.
songs I got off of that was When a Woman's Fed Up, If You Think You're Lonely Now, and there's a joint that I think I might be the only person that actually knows what the song, but I love the song. It's slightly scumbaggy, but it's very douchebaggish, but it's a bop. If it comes on, I'm having a concert. Brian Knight's Used to Be My Girl.
I never heard it. Never heard it.
Is
That
it a
song
rendition? Is it a rendition of the old one?
No, I can tell obviously it's inspired and influenced by it, but it's his own song. I think I want to say no, Dark Child. Ronnie Jerkins did the track, so it's Late Nights. It's
Oh yeah,
beautiful
Dark
track,
Child. Yeah,
melodic,
Dark Child.
but that's definitely a F-boy anthem right there. Like I can see Future right now. I can see Future in the studio right now.
All right.
Go bump that track. Watch you start doing 2-step in the house, acting like a
I'll check
asshole.
it out.
All right, so the next one is okay. What do you think we as people can do to protect the homeless population? If so, how?
Wow. I don't know if there's much the average person can do to help the homeless to protect, the word I think was the word they used, to protect the homeless population, because we don't really interact with them that much.
Yeah.
I mean, if a homeless person comes to you and asks for assistance, the most I would say, and I have given, some homeless people, I didn't know the person was homeless because they were working. I just happened to find out along the way that they were homeless. You have something called the working poor in this country.
Yeah.
And, this guy, he happened to work at this IHOP. And he was a former inmate, and at the time I was driving my little Benz or whatever, I used to floss a lot. I used to be that guy, right? And, I roll up. I used to see him every time I came to IHOP because I worked right up the street. And I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Da, 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 da. I just developed a relationship with him because we're in the middle of, Spanish Town, and he the only brother, in a 10-mile radius. So we just hooked up, and he was like, yo, man, I see you coming through, blah, blah, blah. Man, what the job's looking like up there? This, that, and the third. And we just started a conversation. And, one thing led to another. And there's a sister that I knew at the time who was doing inmate job placement. You understand what I'm saying? And I got, the contact number because he didn't have a phone, but I got the contact number, of somebody that he knew, whatever the case may be. And I left him messages, da, 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 da. And somehow I got this person to get in touch with him to help him find a better job. And eventually he was able to save up enough money so that he could get his own place. You know what I'm saying? And like they put him on with other little places that did, housing for people who had lesser income and all that type of shit. There's a whole network of people who do job placement and housing for felons and all this type of stuff. So that right there, I would say that's the closest I can think of, and something that I've actually done. When I found somebody who was homeless, I didn't know it, but inadvertently, because I'm just that type of person, I'm open to talking to people, right? Yeah. So he presented me with a problem because for whatever reason, my spirit was given that I had solutions for him. And I'm like, okay, if you're a black person, especially, I'm gonna sit there and have a word with you. And I think that in those type of situations, we need to pass on the information for the resources to empower those people to get themselves out of that situation. That's what I did in that situation, unbeknownst to me. But this man was actually homeless and he really needed that look, and I think that we should make ourselves more available to help people like that. And also, something else that I did, I used to go down and help out and volunteer for Habitat for Humanity
Yeah.
and help build housing for the homeless. You know what I'm saying? And low income housing or whatever. If you get more people who are out here that are contributing in that way to that cause, then you donated your time to building housing for the purpose of housing homeless people or low income people. I think that inadvertently helps the problem, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know about a direct way, but that's the best indirect. Those are the best indirect ways I can think of.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, just like Major was talking about, just get with people. If even if you don't do it, just find people in your area. There's always people in your area that's helping out homeless people. I know down here, Valencia Gunda, I talked about her before. She has an organization where she's been helping out homeless people for a long time. I think it's almost going on a decade, or it might be a little bit more than a decade she's been doing it. But the Smile Trust. So this is her organization. You guys can follow the organization on Instagram. And I'll leave this information up for you guys, or you could always look at the playback and come back and see what you guys need to do and hit the follow. And, there's forms, there's websites, and all the important information that you need. And remember, that's here in Florida. You might be in a different state. Find out who's doing something in your state. Also, in California, they have like a little thing called a homeless community, which is tiny homes. They do tiny homes for a homeless community. So they have a designated area where they set up tiny homes where the homeless people could go inside their homes and sleep at night. They're not sleeping on the floor or anything like that. So again, like Mona Lisa was talking about, go to these meetings, talk to your local politician. Inside the state, they could do a lot more. Maybe you might want to get with them and they open up a tiny home community in your state and help the homeless in that form of fashion. So there's so many different resources to go to. If you're not directly out there doing it, they have this stuff out there. And if they don't, go to your local politician and see if they can bring that up and create something. Hey, you might be the first one to do it. Doing a good deed and making a legacy for your family at the same time. That's all I have.
Great ideas. Great ideas.
Very well said.
Especially suggesting, putting forth, and supporting policies. Again, get the government involved. Those are our tax dollars. If we decide that we want some more resources to allocate towards the homeless, do it. Start there. Put these people that got your votes to work. And if it's something that you're really passionate about, if you make that a point of contention, I'm voting for people, I'm looking for policies that specifically are geared towards this. So you can look forward to support from me, or at least campaign donations from me if I know that you're going to be working towards this end. That goes a long way. Resources. When you're homeless, when you really disconnect like that, you're not really in a place where you can receive mail. You're not able to watch really TV like that. You don't have phones in some cases. It's hard to know what resources are available. So if you know of anything, or maybe just keep some information in the back of your head or written down somewhere, so if you see somebody, hey, are you interested in such and such? And you can pass it on to them. What I want to say is, because those are different things that can definitely help protect and empower the homeless. So I'm not going to beat the horse on that. What I will say is another often overlooked thing that can go into protecting the homeless is protecting their well-being in a sense of pride. more than ever, and that was the case even before the pandemic hit, but with the complete upheaval that the economy has been in the last several years, really hitting a fever pitch with the pandemic, homelessness is not what we knew it to be 10 years ago. Homelessness really isn't what we knew it to be 5 years ago, for being completely honest. There are a lot of people right now who you'd be shocked to know are homeless. There used to be a time when there was a stigma that in order for you to be homeless, you were some person who were doing mental illness, you were schizophrenic or bipolar or some other condition, and you just couldn't live around people. And even today, there's still some stereotypes that persist of the homeless person that's sitting on the bus bench with a tinfoil hat on, having a whole entire conversation with a kneecap or elbow or something like that. Oh, they're crazy, just they're nuts. That's why they're homeless. If you sit and talk with some of these people, if you do any sort of volunteering or work with them, you'll be surprised at some of the stories people have. Some of these stories are really, really sad. Sometimes, one hardship just came their way. Most people, if we're honest, are borderline homeless. A lot of people are literally 1 or 2 paychecks away from homelessness. If, for whatever reason, them checks don't go out this week, they're
yeah,
ramrodded. And a lot of us have been there, have been close there. Sometimes a lot of people, they just need one good situation and that's it. Yeah. I'm sure the numbers changed, but I believe back in around 2014, 2015, the statistics indicated that the average person who loses their job unexpectedly will take roughly about 9 months to find another job that will put them at the same level or above.
Wow.
So I mean, if you were working in someone's office getting paid, $20 an hour or whatever, and you lose a job today without notice, could you get another job next week at McDonald's or Taco Bell? Yeah. Will it be paying you the wage that you were at before? That
Hell
you had
no.
your bills and finance that? Not so much. So I'm sure the number for that has probably gone up since then.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they do have a sense of pride. They're not bums, they're not lazy, they're not entitled or what have you. Some of these people are parents. Some of them are out with their children. Some of them were judges. Some of them were lawyers. Some of them were teachers. Some of them were construction workers, whatever. And some sort of hardship befell them. But they're human beings with a sense of pride.
Yeah.
Treating these people like they're people can go a long way to keeping them optimistic and positive and striving. Sometimes when you see people who have lost their minds or suffering from mental illness, it's not that they were homeless because they lost their mind. Sometimes they lost their mind after being homeless.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't cope, because the drastic lifestyle shift, going from sleeping in a bed to now you're sleeping on benches or on grass or whatever, not having adequate clothing to cover your bodies if you're a woman, not having access to sanitary pads and tampons and things, just basic things that a lot of us take for granted. That's always been a thing for us. It's hard to make that adjustment. Some people can do it, some can't. And they break under that pressure. Treating people, reminding them that, hey, you're a human being, you're not a wild animal, goes a long way. Real quick, I remember, this is something that's always stuck with me. I'm probably always going to remember this. Several years ago, I was with a friend I hadn't seen in a while. We hadn't lived with a while. We were good friends. So, hey, let's go out, let's hang, let's go and chill. We went to a party or two. Had a really good time. We decided we're going to close out the night at our favorite pizza place. Best pizza in the city. They're up all hours because they're in downtown area, cater to a lot of the club crowd, so they're always open. Always fresh pizza coming out. Good vibes all around. So we went. We pulled up in a parking space, and we didn't get out the car right away. I think we were talking about something, looking something up or whatever. So we were in the car for about maybe 6-7 minutes. We noticed that right there in the walkway, there was a homeless guy who was walking by. He had a backpack on, and he didn't look homeless. Wasn't half naked or whatever, but You could tell the clothes were kind of dingy. Might have been from place to place. He had a book bag that was kind of light, but you could tell it was kind of worn, whatever. But if you look at it, you could tell this was a person who was homeless. And then to seal the deal, he was kind of walking around. He was actually checking garbage cans to see if he could find some food. And he got to one that was close by where the pizza place was. And bless us, I really felt it in my chest. I really did. He looked at the garbage can. He was positive he was probably going to find something in there that could be salvaged to eat. But there was another car parked about a space or two over. It had a bunch of young girls in it. And it was kind of an awkward moment. I don't think they were trying to be rude. I think it's just one of those kind of, situationally awkward things like, how we get here? Where they saw him about to or considering going in the garbage can, and they were kind of looking at him almost like, is he going to do it? And he saw them, and, you could tell the man stuff that he still had his pride. Because he's like, I'm hungry, I really use a meal. But he saw them looking at him. So he didn't want to go in the garbage can, so he was kind of trying to play it out like he's just standing around, just, loitering, whatever. But you could tell he wanted to get in the garbage can, but he didn't feel comfortable doing it as long as those girls were in there. So me and my homie said, we didn't even think about it. We're like, you know what, bet. We got out the car, locked up, we walked up and said, hey, what's up, man, how you doing? And we took him in the pizza spot with him, and we went ahead and we got a big box of pizza. We're talking like the jumbo New York style one, so like 18 inches, things fat.
Mm-hmm.
We got a box of pizza, which we were probably going to do anyway. And we went ahead and let him get half the pizza. We kept the other slices. We got him a can of soda. We got British, whatever food he wanted, we let him get it. And he didn't cry, but, as close as you can get to that kind of look, it was just like a deep, like, thank you.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I mean, we were on with the rest of the night, but it felt good to help him like that. But in that moment, we didn't freeze, we didn't look at him the way they did. But we saw this is a dude that, was going through it. Tomorrow that could be me.
Yeah.
Real talk.
I've been in situations where I'm like, man, if I don't get paid this week, I don't know what the hell gonna happen. Something gonna shake. But
yeah,
so I've been borderline where I knew this could be a possibility for me. And so maybe I saw myself in him, I don't know. But just that moment, we treated him like a human being. The same way you might do for a friend, like if they lost their wallet. Hey, don't worry, man, we got you, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But we saw him as a human being, we treated him like a human being. And I know that did a lot for his character. I'm not saying you got to go around buying food for every person that you see, but in a moment, if you're in that situation and you see an opportunity to help. A lot of people run scams to try to get money, whatever, but anybody that's scamming food from people, I'd say just let it rock. Most people aren't going to try and run a scam on you because they're trying to get, a burger or a meal from Wendy's from you. And if they are, God bless them. They probably need a lot more than you did in that moment. But, if you can, you see the need, try to meet the need. And remember, this is a human being. And today it's them. Next week it might be you.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
Definitely.
Excellent point.
Right. Last question. Is marriage more beneficial to the woman or man, or why are more women promoting singleness versus marriage?
Man,
I
could go all day on this one. Shit, that's like catnip for me. God damn.
This is what you chose for the last question.
Woo! Just when we were getting good at keeping the answers concise. Here you go. Shit.
It's a whole episode. Lord have mercy.
Man, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring this one in. I'm gonna discipline myself. I'm gonna just put it out there where the goats can get it. You dig? Marriage.
Hold on. Before you go in, do y'all want to save this for an episode, or do y'all want to tackle it now?
We can do both. You know what I'm saying? But I think I can. I can give it a little something now. Give it a little light. We can elaborate and do an episode around this topic later.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give enough room for us to talk about the Brick Lady real quick before we end out tonight. So
yes.
Okay.
So you think you have enough time to tackle this and then the Brick Lady?
Yes, I'll be brief. You know what I'm saying? I've been
Flex,
practicing this. Yeah.
Okay.
So
flex on him, bro.
yeah, right. So marriage is absolutely an institution that protects and helps women. Period. Now, it can also be of a benefit to a man, but the broader sense, marriage is something that provides covering for women. You understand what I'm saying? Usually, women outlive their male counterparts. Well, when you're gone, this is to make sure that your woman is taken care of. The laws are structured as such. Women pretty much automatically get, custody of children. They get alimony. They get unfair advantages in court all the damn time. I want to say about 85% of the time, women get very unfair advantages in court when it comes to marriages failing, because most of them do. You dig? But at the end of the day, yeah, it's an institution that's really here mainly for the protection of women and the preservation of of women. Any lawyer will tell you this. Now, what was the second part of that question? The second part.
Why are women promoting singleness versus marriage?
Yeah, the short answer is you have a bunch of women out here that are either ill fit to be wives, or they're just straight up rebels and they don't want to follow any rules. They want all of the responsibility. They want all of the accolades and everything wonderful that comes with marriage and having relationships or whatever, but none of the responsibility at the end of the day. Like, shout out Keke Palmer. This woman proudly comes out talking about how basically she just wanted a baby. You have a whole collective of women out here now thinking like that, where they just want a baby and they use the love, the unconditional love that they get from the baby to make up for the love that they are missing out on from the man. They don't want to follow any rules. They want to do what they want to do. You hear the rebelliousness in their voice. When she got on that stage and she was talking and she was supposedly trying to rap, what did she say? I don't need no nigga. My baby daddy, my nigga, no, she didn't even give him credit. My baby gave me this ass. So now that she then had a kid, she finally got some ass, so she wants to show it off. You understand what I'm saying? And she don't need no man, because that she's worried about her bag. What she needs is a bag. There's a whole generation of women that think this way now because they don't want to follow any rules. White feminism and thought whole culture has gotten the best of them. There's a sister who I follow, calls herself His Daughter 7 on Instagram. She posted something very ill today. I want to share that real quick because when I saw that question, I thought about this. Sister said in her video, the control and authority of her man. She speaks about this repeatedly in the video. Sis said the words that trigger y'all, meaning control and authority of her man, protect her. This is the type of anti-knucklehead thought processes that we need to have in our women. Control and authority from her man are not words that trigger her or make her upset. They are words that protect her. They're words that tell her that her man is protecting her, because you cannot protect what you do not have some control over. Period. And so, yeah, that, women today's women, they're just rebellious and they're just rebellious and combative at the end of the day, and they don't want to be told anything. That's it. That's the short answer.
That's what's up.
All
right, Drake.
Oh, shoot. I'll touch that one. To make it, okay, so yeah. Okay, we'll tag it that way. So the short way of breaking that down is a concept that I've shared before. This is not just true for women, it's true for men, it's true for people, period. When it comes to dating and relationships, you have three options and you only have three options. There are no other options. You can take other options, you're deceiving yourself. When it comes to your choice of mates, you can either choose the person that you're looking for. You can either change yourself or grow yourself into become your type's type. You can either, instead of trying to fit with someone who type you don't fit, whose preferences you don't fit, you can look at those who are already interested in you and go ahead and deal with them, or you can die alone. Or the house planner, dogs, or pets. That's your option as well too.
There you go.
You only have three choices. If you were having difficulty, you can either, whatever your type is, you can either work to get yourself in alignment with your type's type. What does your type prefer? Get into alignment with that. You can look at the people who are already interested in you, and you can go ahead and make it work with them, or stay single. The end. Period. A lot of women are choosing to be single because they're trying to avoid having to acknowledge the last option I gave. They don't want to say that I'm just playing assed out. So they're trying to say, well, I did this on my own. That it's a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Right. It's a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but not the way you think it is. Because there are a lot of complaints that are valid, for the record. We do have a lot of men that are dusty and weak out here that are dragging their feet. I'll acknowledge that. We've had a number of occasions had to take dusty dudes to task. Absolutely. There are a lot of men who are not emotionally intelligent. There are a lot of men who have no drive, no vision, no plan. There are a lot of men who are lazy. They're not productive. They're not building anything. They really, if we're being honest, aren't serving much of an overall value to society. And to an extent, that's fine, because you know what? You have the right to live your life as you see fit. While you should live your way in a way where you are contributing something to society, where your life has meaning and worth, at the same time, it's your life. You can be a bump in the log if you want to. That's your choice. It is what it is. Most women are not going to be interested and go for that. They don't want to saddle themselves to a horse that's moving that way. Those would be the men in some cases who are attracted to them, and they don't want to settle for that. I can't blame them. However, the men who are not on that wave, the men who are productive, who are desirable, who you want to be with, understand something. Those men come with rules. Those men come with order. They come with structure.
There you
They
go.
come with standards. They come with boundaries. We talked about that earlier. In other words, you can't just come and bring any old everything to him and say, this is what I got, take it. No.
Can't be a rebel.
You're going to have to be already cleaned up, be a clean slate. You're going to have to get it cleaned up if you're not a clean slate. And if you get together with this person, odds are that you're still going to have some cleaning up to do, but depending on how far along you are in the process, you might be able to go ahead and curry some favor with this person. But it's a work in progress. There's a sister who shared, she's very transparent. I'm not going to put her name out there, even though she's made everything on her page public. But I'm not going to go ahead and put her name out there. There's a sister who, in the time I've known her, has been very transparent about her process and how she's gone from being a single mother to 2 children, to 2 different men, to being able to do a drastic overhaul with herself, for herself first and foremost, and then with the hopes of being able to attract a desirable mate. She went ahead and got married to a man who's about, I believe, 15 years her senior, old retired, very well-to-do, lives a very lavish lifestyle. They live modestly, but there's big bank in the family. However, she goes and talks about how she's had to go ahead and nix all the bad habits. She had to stop smoking. She was overweight. She had to get herself in shape. She had to go ahead and change her mindset. She said that she's invested a ton of money over the years into therapy and counseling so she can get her mind right, so she can be healthy for her family and
Right.
for any man that comes along. But she went ahead and she's basically done the work and invested in herself. And she got a lot of blowback, as you can imagine, from a lot of bitter women and some
Of course.
eunuchs. However, in all honesty, when I looked at the things that she's listed and outlined that she's done to make change in life, everything I saw, even if they did benefit a man, even if she did do it to get a man, and that wasn't the case, everything that I read there was something that benefited her first and foremost.
There you go.
There was not a single thing on that list listed that only served to benefit someone else and really was a liability to her. Dropping negative habits, not drinking, not smoking, getting in shape, doing things to boost your health, making sure that your children are well behaved. All these things benefit her first and foremost. And because she was glowing, because she was expressing a different her, it attracted different people.
There you go.
And so someone who could be fit the title of the man of her dreams was able to come along, see her, and say, you know what? I like you. You fit in my program. Went ahead and made it official. They're married happily. And she shared pictures of her son completely being taken under his wing. He works with him. They talk. They have man talk. They do all kind of projects together. When he needs to be corrected, she doesn't do a thing. She's turned over all disciplinary decisions to him.
Yes.
He corrects when necessary. He checks him. There's no, you can't talk to my son, David. He's not good. It's me. None of that nonsense.
That's bullshit. Yeah.
She did the work.
I love it.
You either get into alignment with your type's type, learn to like who already likes you, or you die alone. It is not a flex to say that you choose to remain single because you can't get along with men. That is an indictment of yourself.
It is.
For all the men out there, there are men who are single, who are quality, who aren't ugly, who aren't some lawn gnome with some troll in the face. But they're not going to take your garbage.
It is.
They want your best, and they deserve your best. Why? Because you find them to be at that level. You have set the value for them. You desire them, not the other way around. So you've already validated them. Now you need to make sure that you are mirroring what it is that you want. So that's the reason why a lot of women are choosing to remain single, and it's not the flex they think it is. It's all it really is a bunch of self-patting on the back.
Yep.
But basically, they're not clapping themselves on the back. They basically took a dump in their hand, and they're clapping their hands, and they can't recognize that everyone sees the feces all over the walls in their face.
Wow.
I love it.
That's what's up. So definitely, man, we wrap that up. I did want to go back to one of the statements that one of the queens made, which was emergency preparedness, right? Emergency preparedness, having a bug out bag, and network of people to bring certain items, an evacuation plan, ham radio, and what it means for us to when it comes down to it, right?
And
so
also
I just want to show people I want to show people real quick.
Shape. You can't run from nothing if you overweight. If you take 5 steps and you huffing and puffing, you'll be able to save your own life. So the more fit you are, the more in shape you are, the better able you are to survive and to preserve your own life and your family's life.
Correct.
Real talk.
So here's the bug out bag. You guys could go on Amazon. They sell bug out bags. Major was talking about how certain food items that he had that last 10, 20 years, you know, the bug out bags come equipped with that. So you could put them together, or you could go out there and buy certain items and put together your own bag. Whichever way you want to do it is on you. They also have these type of bags. It's called a Mission Darkness bag, which this is like a bag that shields from your devices being scanned. You know, it's going to be a lot of technological scammers out here, and it protects it from all different things. I can show you different ones where You know, it like it's waterproof. You got a bag right there that's waterproof, and you put all your electronics in it just in case, you know, we have a hurricane, or like Major was saying about Katrina. You know, how Katrina went down. A lot of the people weren't prepared, and if they would have had a waterproof bag, they could have saved their documents, their phones that contained a lot of their documents. A lot of people lost a lot of that through the rainwater and everything like that. So get yourself a bag so you don't lose valuable information. Your phone don't get damaged, and you can, you know, strap that on and run through the trenches till you get to a dry, safe area, or a safe area where you can go ahead and get back to the normalcy of your life. So you have those bags there that you can also get on Amazon. You know, they also have a Mission Performance cooling beanie. I know things are pretty hot. If you need to go out here and grab one, just in case you got to move from state to state, if so-called the world go down and communication go down, at least you're keeping yourself cool and not into the humid air. You can get that Mission Performance cooling cap. And also they have a bag for your laptops as well, and key fobs, because a lot of times people are coming through and scanning your key fob and taking your car as well. So these are all stuff that you guys could go on Amazon and find out for yourself, and definitely purchase it. And you know, you never know. It's always like my parents always say, you build up for a rainy day. You never know when that day is going to come, but it's going to come. All right. She also talked about domestic violence and how people that aren't victims or victimizers are stakeholders. So with that being said, I definitely want to get into the brick lady conversation. As you guys know, there was a lady that came out, said she got hit by a brick. A lot of men, you know, came out and they was like, yo, the story just don't add up, that, you know, a woman got hit in her face for, you know, a guy asking her number. And because we said that, because a lot of men questioned it, you know, a lot of women felt like we were judging women. We don't take them serious, and we don't, you know, run to their aid at the minute that they open their mouth and said that they get harmed. I don't think that's the case for any, I don't think that's the majority of the case. I think men and women go case by case, depending on what the situation and what was said or stated. I think that was the case with this one. You know, a lot of women were really like, the story don't really add up as much as it said it did. And then you know, at the initial realms was everybody was up in arms. We had this whole narrative of men versus women again. Now it started to go to the gender warring over this situation, because everybody wasn't rallying to this girl's side, and people had questions and wanted to know more information about the story. And then women took it as, oh, you guys, you know, never come to our aid. You want to question us and this and that. And that's far from the case. It just, if you're logical in thinking, you're always going to say, you know, something just doesn't seem like to add up. And guess what? It just didn't add up. It worked out for the cases of the people that questioned it. Now, all the women that were out there saying all of this about the men, now they don't want to say anything. A lot of them are reframing from touching this story again. I haven't seen women talk about it. So let's get into it. Let's get into it right quick. I just want to show these two videos real quick and show you. So she said that in 2023, she got hit in the face with a brick. Now I'm going to show you a video from 2020.
You grew up and they mad because you trying to be somebody. They mad because you trying to be somebody. I'm trying to be a doctor and they mad. Look what they did to me. Look what they did to me for no reason. They don't beat me up. I'm 30 years old. They don't beat me up. Grown ass niggas try to beat me up. Grown ass niggas try to beat me up for no reason. Look at me.
All right, so she said, grown niggas trying to beat me up because I was trying to be a doctor. Now, what some people are saying is they believe that this young lady, because she was trying to be a doctor, they feel like she put some saline. She might have put some saline inside of her jaw had the mask on in the club and then went out back, took the mask off, and said that these black men beat her. Now remember, that wouldn't be something to conjure up if this video I just showed you was taken in 2020 when she said that some guys tried to beat her up because she was trying to be adopted. In 2023, some black guy tried to beat her up because she didn't want to give them her number. And then black men was standing around and didn't do anything. So this woman psychologically have some kind of issues. And just to put the proof to the pudding, we have an exclusive interview with the best friend. So this lady, this blogger,
let's listen to the story.
This blogger actually got on the phone with the best friend of this girl. So I want you guys to listen to what the best friend said. You know, nobody knows you better than your best friend. All right.
So let's listen to the story, and then we're going to jump over to Taz's broadcast.
Multiple times. I'm going to go ahead and play this video again.
And they mad because he wasn't gonna, even though I knew.
Man, let me I don't want to watch the whole video again.
Like,
sorry.
Still, I know I played this video 3 times, but it's still like tripping me out. I just can't believe that she's doing a wash, rinse, and repeat of the same damn thing with that. Like, I can't even imagine being with Rachel. I don't know what, I can only imagine what you have been through with this woman, because it's like to even pull this again. Okay.
You know, like I said, when I first met her, I didn't, we were cool, everything was fine. But as I started seeing, like, I'm like, damn, she like drink, she turn up on it and anybody around her. I mean, and I screen recorded this video from her page from 2020. This is about 20 minutes before she was calling me a fat bitch. She hates me. We're no longer friends. I'm the reason she's getting her ass beat and all this. This is in downtown Minneapolis. And it was so disheartening to me. And if you can imagine, like, I felt honestly at that time like I was in a relationship with a man who I loved and cared about so much. I loved and cared about this woman so much to a point of, like, I still wanted to try to help her even after she did this. Because again, as the woman just said who got on here, I wasn't gonna, even though I knew her character and all that, I wasn't gonna just immediately push her away and say, oh, you're lying, this is fake, this, that, and the third. Like, I'm looking at the videos, I'm seeing her face, I'm talking to her on the phone at this point in time when she recorded this video, and I'm just like, this my friend. We came to the club together that night. So it wasn't like I wanted to just say, oh, fuck it, oh, screw it, she getting beat up, I'ma leave, and ha, 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 ha. It's like, it was a lot for me to process. Like, I came home and cried about the shit. I'm not, because it was just like,
yeah, because I mean, I could tell you still are somewhat traumatized by this situation. Like, you're still traumatized.
Listen to me. I never, ever, ever wanted to put this girl in any type of harm or situation. If you my bitch, excuse my language, if you're my bitch, you're my homegirl, I'm gonna ride for you. Even when you might be wrong, I'ma ride for you. Even when you might be wrong, because
remember the discernment.
I don't believe nothing them people in the crowd say. I don't believe, you know what I'm saying? But because you were so heavily intoxicated, you going off on me, the other 2 Somali girls we with that night, you going off on them, and it's like, God damn. You make it hard for people to want to ride for you. This shit wasn't just something like, oh, I met her that night. I knew this girl for 10 years. I hadn't seen her in 5 or 6 years. I met the baby. We go to the George Floyd protest thing, and it's just like, we go out that night, and everything just spiraled after that. And she didn't even want to apologize to me. That shit fucking hurt me.
Yeah.
Fucking hurt me. Yes, I know her personally. I met her in 2010, and when I met her, I was homeless. I didn't have a fucking dollar or a dime to my name when I came up here to Minnesota. So I'm just giving y'all that
that backstory so y'all know where I'm coming from. Like when I saw all these videos of people, basically finding shit out about her, I said I don't have to say anything about her because people are finding out this stuff on their own. The thing that got to me, I said somebody gonna catch her. Somebody is gonna catch her doing these GoFundMe's, and they're gonna research and do all of this and see that this is what she's been doing for the past few years. But I said if I try to blow the whistle, I'm gonna have people jumping down my throat about, you have a white cat and you benefit from this and that. And that's why I left it alone until people started coming to my inbox or writing on my pictures, finding pictures and videos of me and her together. And I said, if I speak out, I'm going to make sure I speak out in the most honest way I can, not bash or belittle this woman, because I know even though she might have lied, the girl do have some mental health problems. I can't comment on what kind, but mental health is rampant in her community, in the Somali community.
Well, damn.
So there you got it.
Shit.
Case open and closed.
I didn't know all that. I mean, I know quite a bit about the situation, but goddamn. Yo. Yeah. Listen. Okay. I'm taking a minute to process that. But
all right, so take a minute to process. Take a minute to process that, right?
Yeah.
Because I want, I'm really trying to get this woman on our stage because we had two women, but one of them you already know, that came out and said some real shit. And I'm so glad that a sister stood up. And then we have another one that stood up. So I'm going to play these videos and then you guys can wrap it up and we can get up out of here, all right?
Okay.
All right.
Black women not being protected, let me first state the obvious. No man should put his hands on a woman. We desire protection, but sometimes what we don't understand is that true protection comes with a level of control. Bodyguards are a good example. A bodyguard will make their client leave from a dangerous place. The bodyguard has to know all the details: who, what, when, where, why, and how. And the client has to listen to the bodyguard and follow the instruction that the bodyguard gives them. It's really an agreement between all parties involved. When the person who needs protecting does not follow the instruction and the direction of the protector, it puts the protector in a situation where they're more likely to lose their life. I have 4 brothers and a father, and I listen to their instruction even when they're not around. They have told me to stay away from certain places if I'm by myself or if it's late at night. They've also advised me not to be drunk or high in certain situations. Even though my brothers, my dad, and the men in my life protect me, I in turn protect them by listening to them and following their instruction. They don't have to come to my defense in some wild scenario, because if I listened to them, I wouldn't have been there in the first place. And this is another thing I feel like is pertinent to say, and I know folks ain't gonna like this one. I don't have sons right now, but when I do have sons, I'm gonna teach them that there's a difference between diamonds and dirt and rubies and rocks. Rubies and diamonds are often in jewelry stores. They're in glass cases, they're secured, there's an alarm system. There's a lot of layers of protection because those things are valuable. But you could pull over to the side of the road and find some dirt and rocks. Expecting a man to risk his well-being, his future, and his life on someone who does not see value in themselves or the man is asinine. That's a very asinine thing to ask. All I'm saying is, protection comes with a little bit of sacrifice. It comes with a little bit of control. And me personally, I feel that what I have to sacrifice and the amount of control I have to give up.
All right, so I'm going to add this next one.
About Black women and preventive protection,
black,
and how if you want someone to protect you, you're going to have to listen to them and try to avoid being in dangerous situations. And because you guys didn't like what I said, I received death threats. People wish that someone would bust my car window and pistol whip me. People wish that some people, or that they themselves, could find me and hit me with a brick. All these young girls that are out here that are still wet behind the ears but are aging like milk and bananas, calling me old. I'm not expecting y'all to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, because I know y'all don't care. But I'm going to say what I want regardless, because I don't receive my self-worth and validation based on what people say about me online. I proudly grew up in a time before all of that, and my self-worth and validation is based on my principles and my character. Some of y'all wouldn't know nothing about that. So I'll say this again, for the people that have sense, preventative protection is the best kind of protection. For every other crime that exists, we understand that preventative measures is the best way to avoid said crimes. If I don't want my car broken into or stolen or vandalized, I'm not going to leave it unlocked with valuable things in my car. I know people personally who have gotten their car broken into several times. I've never gotten my car broken into, knock on wood. If I don't want to get robbed, I'm not going to go to the ATM late at night by myself because that is not a wise decision to make. And you guys can say, well, that still doesn't stop people from getting robbed or their car getting stolen or whatever, but it greatly minimizes the risk. You feel me? Same thing when it comes to condoms and birth control. Condoms and birth control are not 100% effective, but it significantly minimizes the risk of you getting an STD or you getting pregnant. In addition to taking preventative measures by not being in dangerous places by yourself, actually listening to the men that tell you to take preventative measures is another way that will help to ensure your safety as a woman in this world. And to the ladies who have never had a man love them enough to try to prevent something bad from happening to them, you honestly have my sincere condolences. And to those of you who say, why don't you just tell men to stop abusing women? Why don't we hold them accountable? If telling someone to stop being an abuser, a thief, or a murderer worked, then the prisons, we wouldn't have a need for prisons. None of that would exist. So excuse me for living in the real world. I'm a very proactive kind of person. We can't change what happened in.
All right, and then this one right here.
And some of them rightfully so. Some of y'all deserved to have some of the stuff said to you that you had said to you. But wow, I have the time because we all talk about personal experiences. Let me just say thank you to the black men in my tribe today. Okay, because baby, they showed up and they showed their ass. Some of them weren't even here in the state. And they made sure that I was okay. They was worried about me and everything that happened to me today in a positive way was because of black men. They were the ones who came through for me. They were the ones who gave me knowledge. They were the ones who ensured that I was okay. They were the ones that made sure that I wasn't getting fucked up my money. It was a black man, baby. So thank you to all the black men around me who showed up for me today. I appreciate y'all in more ways than I know how, because I always say, like, my daddy left me with all these men around me, but he made sure I was okay. Okay, so yes, thank you to y'all. And for those who don't have that, I really do feel bad for you, because it's an amazing experience to really have genuine black men around you who care about you and want to.
All right, and that's the last one right here. He got, if you notice, he has a pistol in his hand, on his right hand. He has a pistol because I guess, I don't know, I think a guy was chasing the girl or something, and his wife said, no, don't get in that. Bring your ass back to the car. So I wanted to show you how even women will tell their men not to get there because they're protecting their lives by telling them, look, I don't want to lose you, because something might go left.
There you go.
While all these women were bashing men, I had to show that women were telling women, like, they were telling men, well, that one, they were telling their man that take yourself out of that situation. And then you had the other women who were saying that, look, men are not obligated to be in there, and you got to know who you're protecting. And no, you don't just get the protection that you get off rip. So I just wanted to open up the case, close the case, and then you guys can wrap it up and from all of what you saw, and we can definitely get up out of here.
There's so much, but we must be brief in the interest of time. So I'm gonna just keep it real brief with this lady. I knew that shit was a fraud the minute I saw her ugly ass. I knew it was a fraud. I knew it was a total fraud. There was nothing that this woman could say. You understand that I got Carly Russell and Jussie Smollett flashbacks as soon as I heard her ass come out with this bullshit story, because she wasn't concerned about getting help for her injury at all. She was concerned about blaming all these black men that stood up and did nothing. You supposedly just got your face busted in with a brick. You're going to be like, somebody call the ambulance. I need help. Somebody just hit me in the face with a brick. You're not focused on attacking a group of people. But this chick goes out of her way to try to make the men that were around her responsible for the fact that she just got hit in the face with a brick, allegedly, which I didn't really believe that either, by the way. I was one of the first people to call this out. Me and Tariq Nasheed were on the same page because he came out the next day with his podcast, and I think he's made 2 more since then. We have to be mindful of these damn charlatans that will go out here and weaponize their gender against us, you know, for whatever little monetary or clout chasing bullshit gain they can get. That's the long and short of it. You know, we have people out here, and people, you know, they were saying the same thing about me. Oh, you're being so insensitive, and, you know, you this, you that. You know, I can't believe that you're saying that. They said the same thing about Jussie Smollett. They said the same thing about Carly Russell. We have to stop being so goddamn naive and gullible and just outright stupid in some cases, because a little common sense will tell you that this was bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't make any sense. Yeah. Come to find out, when I, you know, the subsequent searches and, you know, internet footprint and all this stuff made it very clear that this woman detests black men. She goes out of her way on her page to talk about how black men ain't this, black men ain't that. Black women are the true protectors and providers in the community because ... She goes out of her way to say this. Yeah. And it's so ironic and so funny that when you get in trouble and your ass is on the line, now all of a sudden black men have to become your personal damn bodyguards. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on. We have to become your personal bodyguards now. Like, and I posted about this earlier this week as well. A sister put up a post where she was saying in her video, "My husband will not protect you." That's the name of the video. I posted that, you know, and she said that her husband is supposed to protect her and their family. He's not supposed to be out here protecting random women. So you women who want protection so bad, you need to go out and get you a goddamn husband. Didn't we talk earlier about women out here amping about how they don't want to be married because they don't have any discipline, which is really the long and short of it. Okay? You need to go out here and get you a goddamn husband. That's what husbands are for. Miss, I don't need no man. If your ass was at home instead of out in the streets, nobody would have had a chance to hit you in the face with a brick. Let's talk about it. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is the type of shit that goes on. You know, nobody, I mean, I'm all for protecting black women and looking out for our sisters when it makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? When it makes sense, and when it's something that, you know, you intervene and, you know, nobody's holding a gun to nobody's head, and, you know, it's not unnecessarily violent, whatever. If I can, I will. But I'm increasingly crossing over into this other space where I can't do that. I have a wife. You understand what I'm saying? And y'all brothers are going to have wives soon. You understand what I'm saying? And when you it's a very valid point. When you put yourself in the line of fire for what might be some bullshit, if you lose your life, who's going to take care of your family? That's a very legitimate concern. And we all need to get on that, particularly when the sentiment among a lot of these people is that they don't need no man. It's one of the most asinine things I've ever heard in life. I got real pissed at a sister once for talking that stupid shit. And I said, everything that you have access to, from the chair that your ass is sitting in to the house that you live in, came from a man. Men are builders, but you don't need no man. You realize how stupid you sound? We are made for each other. We are interdependent. That's the long and short of it. Let's get off of this whole I don't need no man bullshit. And you don't hear men running around talking about how they don't need women, by the way. You just don't hear that. And there's a reason for that. We have to raise our level of maturity, so that trash like this can't come out and finesse people out of $40,000 on a bullshit ass lie that they told because, you got a pair of titties and you out here claiming that someone did something to you with no proof. It didn't even make sense. Every once in a blue moon, a dusty nigga will attack a woman because he didn't give her a phone number. But usually even there's more to that story. I'm not saying the dude is right, but usually it's because she said some slick shit to the dude. She was disrespectful. She cut him down. She belittled him, this, that, and the third. And then he got mad and did what people do when they get mad. Not saying that it's right once again, but we don't live in a perfect world. But they conveniently leave that part out because another guy did come out and say she got hit in the face with a brick and he was there and all his friends are there. And they purposely ignored her ass because she does this type of shit all the time when she starts shit with people. And if she got hit in the face with a brick again, he wasn't going to do shit again because she wasn't worth defending, because she was actively antagonizing this guy and trying to invoke a response out of him. That's what eyewitnesses on the scene said. You dig? So we got to be real careful about who we put on the cape for, and the sisterhood of failure is about 0-10 right now. I mean, damn, every time y'all come out caping for some, reckless chick because, she wears panties and not looking at the facts, it always blows up in your face. You got to be tired of looking stupid at this point. We got to be smarter than this, because if that's the case, anybody can just come out and finesse y'all. You know what I'm saying? It was very unfortunate, but everybody should have seen that this was bullshit from jump. That's where I stand on it. Bobby, it's you.
I want to make it abundantly clear off the top.
Yeah.
That this broad, this chick, she didn't raise no $40,000 because she got hit with a brick. Allegedly. She got $40,000 because her video bought her 15 seconds of fame, and she used that platform to demonstrate anti-black misandry.
Agreed.
She got a bag not because she was a victim. She got a bag because she got to be on the front page dish ragging and shit talking black men.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee, I'm not saying that if she just came out and said, I've been a victim of this terrible crime, please help me so I can cover my bills. I'm not saying she wasn't going to get paid. She might have gotten a nice, handsome amount of money. I can tell you she wasn't going to get no 40K.
Nah.
You see, this is what happens when you embrace emotionalism. When that becomes your default, de facto means of operation, and because that is not necessarily in and of itself a bad thing, but when that's your situation and you do not have a logical presence with which to operate and use the sounding board, if you only use the head, you might make some very analytical, clear-cut, precise calculations, you might be able to make some very tough choices relatively easy. But without the heart behind that ruthless efficiency up here, you're going to end up cutting off a little more than necessary. You're going to do more damage than is required. You need to be able to make decisions, in some cases, hard decisions, with a soft, gentle touch sometimes. Just because you got a hammer and a nail doesn't mean you have to wham the thing in one blow. It might be more effective, more efficient, and better overall to just tap several times at it, multiple times,
Yeah.
to get in the same place. Could you slam it down as hard as hell? Yeah, maximum efficiency. One shot, one kill, boom. Is that always the best way to operate? No. Sometimes you need a finesse touch. On the flip side, if you just alienate this and you only rely on your heart, you are going to get played like a snare drum in an HBCU marching band
Mm-hmm.
at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Using this and none of this will make you a certified dummy. It will make you prey for any and every aspiring predator out there. You will be the Showtime bell. Too many women have allowed themselves to simply be reliant upon this and not this. And those who know they have an issue with this do not have solid people, don't have solid men in their corner that they can go ahead and use as a sounding board. I mentioned my example earlier about how my homegirl came and she had an issue with making a decision, and she got advice from other people, but she came to me and she said it out the gate. She said, I know that you don't BS. And she basically said, and I respect and appreciate that, she said, whatever advice you give me, I'll go ahead and follow through with it. And I know she will. And when I told her how to go ahead and handle the situation, she said, you're right, I got this. When you are heavy with the heart, see, when you have a big heart, that's actually a strength. That's a superpower. But like anything else, if you don't know how to control your power, if you don't know how to check and create balance, then your superpower will end up becoming your greatest weakness. I hear women all the time, specifically men sometimes too, but I hear women specifically talk about how they always get taken advantage of, how, they always get taken for granted, how they have a good heart that keeps getting taken advantage of. And we tell them, no, baby girl, your issue isn't that you have a good heart. The issue is you have no boundaries. So you go above and beyond all the time unnecessarily for people who don't deserve it. You don't do any proper vetting. You don't do analysis. Unfortunately, for many black women, there is now, at this point, there is a written formula out there on how to finesse and play black women. Whether it's this broad, Garrett Waxon, Steve Harvey, we can go down the list. It's a long one. There is a template out there on how to finesse and play you and get a bag off of it. And y'all keep on making people rich off of making you look stupid. How many times do you have to get popped in the face before you at least figure out, maybe I should move my head? We have to do better than this. As for the ones that rally behind her because they share the same anti-black male views, your time is coming soon too. Don't worry about it. It's already here. Keep burning those bridges. Because I've noticed that it's generally those women who are making these complaints about, no black man help me. This may have been fake, but I hear a lot of women talk about, where are the black men? I've never been helped a day in my life. Black man ain't this, black man ain't that. Who do you expect to show up for you? Even a dog needs to feel appreciated. But if you notice, the women that have good reports, I have men in my circle that love me, they protect me, they care about me. The way they talk about men is different. And it's not a men have to show up first that happened. No, because I've seen women who I know for a fact have been helped by men. In fact, men have gone out on the limb for them, men have done for them. They wouldn't be where they are, have what they have, if it wasn't for men going ahead and giving them the opportunities, because the women sure weren't. And they still turn around and gave men the ass a kiss. So it has nothing to do with men showing up and proving themselves to you. Men don't have to prove a damn thing. Set the intention. You have a whole bunch of people like to talk about manifesting and intentions and whatever. Set the intention, manifest. How about instead of talking about how garbage men are, you start talking about how great a lot of men are, even if it's not really in your life. It might not be happening for you, doesn't mean it's not happening for others. When you hear other women praising black men, how about you say, I'm grateful for the great men out there. I'm happy for the wonderful men out there. I'm so thankful that there are sisters who are being covered by men. Start talking that way, creating a mindset, because what you don't understand is you're programming yourself how to react to men. Look, human beings, we pick up on a lot of cues subconsciously. There's a lot of men that can tell that you hate them just by your attitude around. You got ice in your veins. You can't even look at them with any kind of warmth. They see ice in your eyes when you look at them. You stiffen up. You pull your purse closer, they're going to rob you or something in broad daylight. You don't say hello, or if you do say anything, it's short and curt. And not like you have someplace to be, but because you just want to be away from them as quickly as possible and disassociate yourself. People can pick up on that. You are coaching yourself to be a man repellent, a healthy man repellent. You can get a lot of the dusties in your circle. But the healthy men, the feeling's mutual. They don't want to be around you either. However, the ones that give praise to men, they appreciate men, they're in good harmony and relationship with men. They have healthy mindsets about men. They got a whole security team. They got a security detail. You are informing your encounters in this life. Take ownership and accountability and make the change. As for her, she gonna get hers. Because I know once it comes out and once it's established that she's lying, GoFundMe don't play. They're gonna take the bag. They're gonna snatch all that back, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna have some criminal liability waiting for her as well too. That's fraud. Even if it's crowdfunding and people are giving them money, there's still an obligation where there needs to be honesty in the appeal. You faking and fronting, they're coming after you. And she's not from here either, might not even be a citizen. Sure, that's going to affect your paperwork. Bye, Felicia. Let this be a lesson. Misandry, dead it. Heal yourself so you can be an asset to the society and not a liability. Do it for yourself first and foremost, because you deserve to be whole. You deserve to be healthy. And then once you're in that state, come back and rejoin us. Send my peace.
All right, so we had a wonderful, wonderful night for y'all. You know, Major and Drake hit it home. There's nothing else for me to say. You know, it's an open shut case. I just want women, especially black women, to give grace when people are out here and say that something doesn't seem, it seems a little off. You know, to just give us grace to let's do the investigation and then we can go from there. But many times, a lot of our women are very triggered, whether it's a personal experience or they know somebody that went through it and they get triggered off rip. And that triggerness gets you to be emotional and defensive, and also sometimes be very vicious and vital towards the individual that's just asking questions. So just give us some grace, because look, if you would have gave us some grace, you would have found out that the person you're campaigning for had their own hidden agenda. Now you look like you're co-signing somebody with ill intentions. So while you were downgrading men that was questioning, now you're looking like a co-conspirator to the person who made these allegations, and everything unfolded and unraveled. All right. We want to thank you here at Manversations. This was our show to give back to y'all. Y'all gave us some great questions. I would love to do this again. Man, it was so phenomenal. We got through everybody's questions, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to definitely take it on to the next level. Check back with us. We're not here this Sunday because this show was to take up a Sunday. Like I said, Major had some plans he had to do. And then the following Sunday, we'll be right back here. And then the following Sunday, we won't be here because I will be on my vacation for my birthday. So, you know, looking forward to everybody. Yep, turn up. All right. So definitely we'll see you guys the following Sunday, not this Sunday, but the following one after that. And we'll come back here and chop it up. Also, I want you guys to know we have the mother and daughter of the phenomenal team that y'all seen here in South Florida, that the team that from down south, Homestead, that end up getting the highest GPA at the age of 15. They both will be on the show. So I'm very excited about that. So you guys can take the blueprint that they have and you can apply it to your child as well. All right. So don't forget, we got that. We got Dr. Umar coming. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that, Kat, for the early birthday. So we got Dr. Umar coming too. So y'all make sure y'all lay around for that, because boy, me, Drake, Major, and Dr. Umar, oh man, that show is going to be fire. So, all right. Thank y'all so much.
Like, share, subscribe. You know this.
All day, every day. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All right. So thank you so much for everybody tuning in. We'll see you guys the following Sunday. All right. Peace out,
love
family.
y'all.
Love y'all to death.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.